Okay, that should be a little bit better.
That's way better. I like that. That
sounds nice.
I'm gonna buy Legos again because like this was so fun.
That's
done.
Yay!
I've actually done it. This is insane. Okay,
I'm so hyped, focused on this thing.
It's
here.
hard. It's hard to concentrate. Steve, what are you looking at? You are really intently looking at something.
I dropped the piece and I can't find it.
Just tell me what I need to do.
Yeah, telling me that
zero numbers. There's no numbers.
I'm not sure how you do it.
No numbers.
It's so past my bedtime right now.
Having the problem with this one here.
Oh, no. We're gonna be here till 2 in the morning.
Outstanding.
I'm actually enjoying a little bit of wine while we do this because it felt inappropriate to not have libations.
Look at this. It's kind of, I don't know what this was from.
I had a great freaking time. I chose a Lego set that was like, don't do the flowers, guys. Don't do the flowers.
Obviously, I'm the problem because I keep making the same bad decisions.
Yeah. Okay. No big deal.
Yeah, fuck, how do I pitch my channel? I cover a lot of the current drama and stuff that's going on, but predominantly I'm somebody who's kicked around the internet for quite a long time.
So I do bonsai. I collect bonsai trees, and these trees aren't it. they're wrong. These trees they have bad form.
I got the part of the base done, and I'm working on what I think is the owl now. That's how you get invited back. You just do it really slow.
That looks really cool.
That's awesome.
It's so random, but it functions. That's awesome.
It's so cool.
But it's not the size of the tower. That's how well you use it.
What's this all about? I'll show you mine if you show me yours. I'm like, whoa, this is not that type of stream.
Hey, we're live.
We are live. Hello, everybody. And hello, Mr. Ron Coleman. How are you doing this evening, sir?
I'm all right, thanks. How you guys doing?
So good. So good.
Mr. Rob Coleman, if you follow my Twitter feed.
Not only can David not
Ron.
say names,
Thank
he
you.
also cannot spell them.
Yeah, no,
We really need to get you an editor, man. Or
I know. I just need to take a second and look at it one more time and then post it. That's all.
You know, if my name had been Rob, everything would be different. I just know it. But it would not be better. It would be worse. I don't know why.
Well, I'm glad you were finally able to make it here since Valhalla apparently forgot to tell you and give you a link.
This one was totally my fault, yo. I'm gonna take full blame on this one.
It's okay.
We're a team.
Okay.
When one of us fails, we all fail.
And realized that I had failed to send the link up until about 5 minutes prior to showtime, and then was informed that Ron had to travel across the city of New York.
And we're so grateful.
Well, or up Route 21 in New Jersey. I'm speaking to you from my office in Newark, New Jersey.
Nice.
I live in Clifton, New Jersey, nearby the Pearl of Passaic County.
Oh, I thought you were in the city. My bad.
No, I don't live in this city. You think I'm a millionaire? Are you freaking
a billionaire?
Well, wait a minute. I watched that show Friends, and they all live in the city, and they're just
yes, no. That people who look like that get to live in the city free. Actually.
In the 90s.
yeah, maybe pre-Epstein, maybe.
Yeah.
So, but wait, we're glad you're here. Now, you have what Lego set are you building? Are you building the same one that Joe built and spent 12 hours building with us?
I don't know. You think I know what the hell Joe built?
That's what Joe built.
Oh, get out of here.
Yeah, that's what he built. What?
Wrong camera.
If I had any idea,
my bad.
I would have chosen a different one because Joe and I are otherwise essentially the same.
Yeah.
when you sent me the picture, I debated whether or not I should tell you, and I figured I'd just let you ride with it. But I thought it was
well. See, it is funny because Joe and I, neither one of us is particularly plugged into most of the topics of Lego sets for the same reason.
Yeah.
But we also both live within sight of the, we're neighbors. With the, climb to the top of the hill and you can see what's left of the New York skyline that hasn't been obscured by some of the preposterous things that they're putting up there. So it just seemed like and also this was a cheap set. And I think that's another reason that Joe and I,
I didn't know Lego.
You and Joe have a lot in common. Right?
Yeah. we do. And yet the funny thing is that when we're on together, the contrast could not be more clear. It's an amazing thing.
Well, I am. Somebody
like
gifted me the Great Pyramid of Giza, and so this is what I'm building. If you are watching right now and you gifted this and you want to get some props, let me know because I don't know who sent this to me. But I'm excited to build this. It's
that's not the one from Aaron Olivia.
No.
Okay.
I decided to do the pyramid for this stream.
I love
because
that.
I want to challenge myself. This is 1,400 pieces.
Wow.
More than that. So I'm going to try to do this today. I have Aaron Olivia's right here. I will build it, but not today.
All right, cool. What you got, Valhalla?
I today am choosing to build Dobby the house elf.
Oh my god!
That is cool.
I thought this would be a very cool one. It'll go up there with my Hogwarts train, I think.
Love it.
Oh, it was JoJo that sent it. Thank you very much.
Oh, thank you, JoJo. Yay, JoJo.
Super awesome, JoJo.
It's very cool.
We appreciate that.
And
by the way, the link for David, if you want to donate any Lego sets for our Lego streams, Valhalla has yet to create a wish list, but David has. And if you go to his community page on YouTube, you can send him some Lego.
That's mostly accurate. But we do have two wish lists set up that we should probably plug. One for Team Valhalla and one for Team Loser Lawyer. And I haven't checked on the status of those yet, but we should probably plug that, I guess.
Can we please?
We can plug that. I'll put a link in the chat to both of those. What we have is on December 7th, we're doing sort of a build-off competition, Lego competition, with a bunch of guests coming in to
epic
compete as well.
December 7th.
Yeah, December 7th. And we have two wish lists if you guys want to donate to those so we could get the sets to the people that are battling. And I will do that right now.
Thank you for putting that much more eloquently than I did.
Yeah, I don't know if I did.
You can't
now that being said,
talk good.
We do in fact have one of the brilliant lawyer minds, not just of YouTube, but at least this country, with us today. And I'm super excited to get into this conversation and get to know Ron as a human being. That being said, also,
you're going to be very disappointed. I'm barely a human being.
It takes a lot.
What are the rules, guys? Are we supposed to all start at the same time, or can I just start?
No, this isn't a competition. You can just
we go for it around here. We go
because I can't promise you that
you're
I'm
our
going to finish
special
this.
guest, and you get to do whatever the heck you want.
Oh, but that is very special. I feel special now.
You are special.
Short bus special, but still.
So
you know what's special? I'm excited about Lego's new environmentally friendly packaging. It means a lot to me.
I accept that.
From plastic to paper-based packaging. That's why you might find a mix, but no, not. It looks like it's.
Mine's all plastic.
Yeah, I think it is.
I hope Ron got a real set. We're not.
Wow.
Keep in mind though that Lego is Danish, so they're weirdo socialists anyway.
Easy.
Okay. I'm here for it.
So Ron, the one thing I don't know is what kind of law do you practice generally?
I am a commercial litigator. That is a very broad category. But what it basically means is I'm a go into court guy. Okay? I do cases. People have disputes, but they can have all kinds of disputes. They can have disputes over contracts. They can have disputes over trademarks, and I'm kind of have my reputation, if I may be so bold, is to a large extent in the trademark litigation area. And in the last 5 to 10 years, I've been doing a lot of free speech work, a lot of politically oriented work. I'm a partner. I left the partnership about a year ago because I don't want to operate that way anymore. But I am of counsel to the Dhillon Law Group, which is Harmeet Dhillon's law firm. Charlene, thank you. I love you too. And I we represent the Trump campaign. I'm representing the Trump campaign and President Trump in a couple of copyright infringement cases that have been brought over the use of songs at campaign events, really kind of garbage trolling litigation. But hey, it's, people have the right to make their claims, and we have the right to defend against them. So that's kind of.
You say tell them they're full of it.
Well, sometimes they're full of it. Sometimes they have, which is usually the case, and certainly in one of the cases, rather overstated the extent of the offense. Sometimes it's like, okay, yes, there was maybe there was a question about what permission was given for what kind of use, and people make it sound like a rape. And we're talking about songs that probably nobody would have ever heard of in some cases, if not for. Now, this, I got to tell you, I don't have patience for this. I'm supposed to go through and check that they properly, packaged up the right number of pieces. Dude.
I wouldn't do that.
Don't do that.
That's gay, okay? No, Coleman, that's for people who read instructions in the first place, right? I mean,
it kind of ruins the lives when people read the instructions. Yeah, we don't encourage that.
Joe did the same thing. You guys are like
no, Joe and I are we are really good friends because we are very simpatico. This is going to be a disaster. This is going to be an utter disaster. No wonder Joe took 12 hours because what the hell do we have to do with this? The last time I built a Lego, I have 4 children who are now adults, 4 men children, and they all played lots and lots of Legos. But I actually got out of the Legos business, the playing Legos with the boys business, quite some time ago. Like I started deputizing my other children. The younger, you guys would be great at why don't you play Legos with the twins? Because my dad was such a better dad than I was. He would get on the floor and do anything. It seemed that way. He would play anything for as much time as we wanted. And I'm just I'm just not that guy, I have other strengths.
I have other strengths.
Okay, so how the heck do I?
That's great.
Look at
You
this.
guys, my adult daughter just commented she's in Louisville right now at a horror convention, and how sweet. Thank you, sweetheart. I love you.
Hi.
She's at a horror convention? That sounds terrible.
I'm a chicken baby scaredy cat. So I don't know why she got into watching horror films, but since she's a little girl, she loved them. She's now 30. She just turned 34 yesterday. Happy birthday, sweet girl.
What I'm going to say is the original Evil Dead is probably one of the best horror movies ever. And I want to know if your daughter agrees.
All right. Baby, have you watched it? And hi, David.
Everybody
and Paul
that's into horror has watched it.
Sal has a question for Ron. Have you ever built an erector set?
Yes, but not since I would say probably the Nixon administration.
That was before my time.
Hi, Ella. Sorry about
that. I'm really old. That's part of the fun of this.
That's amazing.
You look great.
Oh,
you're not that old, are you?
I'm 61.
Oh my, that's a baby. Come on now.
Not compared to everyone except the people in this conversation. You want to? I see.
In all fairness, you're a significant amount older than me. In all fairness, but you're not that old. You're not that old.
Yeah, everyone's older than Valhalla. I feel like.
I get it. No, I think it's just fine.
So, David, she has not seen that movie. She says.
Oh, well, she is missing out. You need to go watch it tonight. The original Evil Dead, not the new.
She
not
read
the remake.
Bram Stoker's Dracula like in 5th grade. This girl loves her horror.
You got to watch that one.
Okay, sweetheart, you got to watch that.
So
And
there's
happy
2
birthday.
Evil Deads. There's Evil Dead 1, there's Evil Dead 2, and then there's a third one, which is Army of Darkness, which carries on the story and is the most amazing thing you'll ever watch.
I'm already scared. I don't want to be. You guys know how hard it was for me to get on those roller coasters. I'm definitely not going to watch a horror movie.
You got on like every roller coaster. What are you talking about?
Yeah.
I kind of had no choice because I was with hardcore people that forced me. I went against my. No, I had a good time.
Get your story straight.
Right.
It's really hard for me to get my story straight because the truth is, Ron, I'm scared. I'm a baby, the biggest chicken you've ever met. I don't like scary rides. I don't like scary movies. I don't like to be scared. Right? It feels stupid. Like,
no, I have no.
I'm peaceful. I'm happy. Why do I want to be frightened?
But some people really, really do go for it. You're
People
right.
get off on the thrill. They get off on being frightened. But
I'm too sensitive.
Ron, do you celebrate Halloween?
Well, first of all, let's get this straight. No one celebrates Halloween. Now, as opposed to the trick or treat holiday.
Yeah.
Okay, but Halloween, the Christian All Hallows Eve,
not that
festival. I don't think anyone actually celebrates that. But I just want to make sure we get our terms, right. We don't have any use for Halloween.
It starts with a P. The
Passover.
No, I think there's like a Jewish, I'm so ignorant. I'm so sorry. They like dress up. Like there's a dressing up day.
Oh,
but
Purim, right. We do have a dress up day. Yes. But the difference is on Purim, the people who in the costumes give food to the people's houses they go to instead of demanding it.
Isn't that the holiday where you're supposed to get absolutely wasted?
You are supposed to get wasted. These by the way, are me with my troops. These are Ron Coleman and the boys he played Legos with.
Hang it.
Many years ago.
Oh, nice.
That's cool.
Me and my rabbis.
Love
That's
it.
awesome.
Yeah, thank God they're good. They're good boys. And the holiday of Sukkot just ended. And
you were going to explain Sukkot.
Right. So it didn't really end. It's the first 2 days of it ended. So I'm going to show people. Let's face it, I'm never going to touch these Legos, but we're going to try. We're going to try. So I'm going to just show you guys a sample of what a sukkah, a hut, a tabernacle looks like. Okay. This is not actually all that different from the one ours looks like. It's a little bit.
Mind you, I describe this as the holiday where you go into a tent and smoke marijuana.
Right.
So that's what I know it is.
Right. There's no marijuana. But what you do is you do go outside of your house and you demonstrate your faith in God to shelter you. And you eat your meals. And if the weather is amenable, the men sleep outside. The women don't have to sleep outside because they're women.
Seems unfair.
And there are different ways you can make them. But the main thing is that they have this sort of grass roof so that if you can see this, you can see the sky. If it rains, you go inside. These are just not people that I know.
So
but this,
cool.
so it's actually an 8-day long holiday. Oops, I was supposed to stop sharing first. It's an 8-day long holiday, and the first 2 days were Thursday and Friday. So I've been sort of off the grid and catching up, and then then I log on and I find out which terrorist has been blown to smithereens.
Oh, I saw that.
Yeah.
I saw that. That's a much more believable photograph than the one they showed us of bin Laden. I'll tell you that much.
What do you think? Bin Laden's really still alive in Argentina?
I think he was dead long before that press relief was.
Oh, really?
How
Yeah,
Valhalla?
Really? Is that what the cool guys say?
I want to hear.
I don't know if the cool guys say it, but I remember a sergeant major that was telling me the story when I was in the Army, that he was part of these ranger missions that they would, bomb the crap out of some place over there, and then they'd go land and they'd start taking DNA samples, and they were trying to get Bin Laden. And he said then one day those missions just stopped. They just didn't do them anymore. So I assumed that he was probably dead long before that.
So what would have been the interest of the Bush-Hitler administration in lying to us, and then and in Obama, and allowing Obama to step in and get the credit for killing him?
Well, you have to believe, I think, that at some point the uniparty is a real thing, and if that's the case. If that's the case, then it would be much like championship wrestling, professional wrestling, where somebody has the belt because they caught Saddam Hussein, and if they've got another victory, then they can use that down the line to prop up the new champion and get the new guy the belt with the victory over Bin Laden.
Seems like the kind of argument that's almost impossible to falsify. Like good.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Any
Absolutely.
good conspiracy.
I'm extremely cynical. That's the other thing that you have to be a little bit.
You're cynical as Lego building.
He's the sweetest cynic I've ever met. I'll tell you that right now. I mean, he's horrible. He's not nice. He's so mean. Urgh.
I'm not. I'm terrible. I'm the worst.
You're the worst.
So I'm going to assume that these. I mean, I'm not. Okay, no, black. I get it. They're both black. Okay, I just did that. See, this is my first Lego. What's the technical term for
brick?
Putting
a Lego brick.
But no, I get that. But what is it when you cause them to adhere in this manner?
Join.
It must be to join.
Yes.
I'm now a joiner.
Connected.
I mean, it's probably been it's really been a long time, folks.
I love it. I'm glad
I'm excited that we can bring people on here and they can re-experience their childhood and building Lego and time with.
Oh no, I hope to do much better than my childhood. Please. I am so embarrassed at who I was as a child.
Why is that?
No, I was a dorky kid. I was such
dorks are the best.
But who?
No, I mean, I grew up into being a nerd.
They make the best adults.
I think
we do if we
survive
survived childhood.
True. If you survive the bullying, I feel like yes.
Now the bullying makes you a better person.
David, you're the only person who thinks that.
No.
Well, he's actually not entirely. Look, when you're bullied. So why was I bullied? I wasn't smaller than the other kids, and I didn't wear big, thick glasses. But I was nerdy, and I was soft. I wasn't athletic, and also I wasn't particularly aggressive. In other words, I was different. And the thing is, when you're being bullied, you do feel as a child, why are the adults in the world letting me down? Why are they letting this happen?
Oh, yeah.
But you know what? When I started fighting back, changed my life forever. Changed my life forever. And I'm better off than if I had never. And I went through there was a lot of times when I really felt wretched. But once I'll never forget the time I punched Mitch Schwartz in the nose.
He deserved it.
Bitch, Mitch.
He deserved it. He deserved it.
Yeah, he did.
And it looked like his whole face imploded around my fist. And I drew blood.
Yeah.
I was never bothered again.
Yeah, exactly.
I was never
Do you feel like that made you a stronger person mentally inside?
Yeah, it did.
And
Absolutely.
that's what I was getting at with bullying. I feel like there's some advantage to it.
The question is, yeah, go on, please.
We do have to address the elephant in the room here, though, right? Like bullying when we were kids is at a different level than today's bullying with cyber.
You're not wrong.
We could, when we were kids, when we were getting bullied, we would go home and then it would end for the day.
There's
and it would
no
be
social
over
media.
until you went back to school the next day. Now it's 24 hours a day. It's
They're not
constant feed of harassment. If
No,
you
you're
are
right.
one of those
You're
that are
right
getting
about that.
Okay, so here's the thing. So my kid came to me one time and was talking about how other kids are making fun of him and whatever. You know, these are nobodies. So, but he had the same sort of argument. You know, well, it doesn't end because they constantly message. So then I just simply pull up a few YouTube videos. The names will go unmentioned, and I'll say, look at this, and all of the comments about MLS and all of this stuff in there. And you know what? I don't really care. I kind of find it funny and entertaining. You just got to roll with it. And even though it's going on out there constantly 24/7, it is what it is.
I would argue also. Well, I would argue also though that you're an adult, right? Like we're talking about.
I'm trying to
childhood
teach
bullying.
him. You know, I'm trying to teach him. Like,
Sure.
hey, listen, it doesn't matter what other people think about you and say about you.
Which is the right lesson to learn, by the way.
Well, also, Ron, we can't teach at least from my perspective, we can't teach our kids to fight back anymore because now they get arrested. So even if they're not the initial perpetrator, they end up getting in trouble. Like my kid will get kicked out of school if I tell her punch the kid back or stick up for yourself. They expelled her.
Then your child is better off expelled, and you should find another place to school that child because they're destroying your child.
Yes, sir.
If they are not permitting your and listen, that's a sort of an enhanced version of what we've always had. It's always been the case that in most school contexts, the school can't really have a policy of let people, let people, right? Because then it's, but to go from don't let the teacher know that you're going to hit back to we're going to expel you for hitting back. I can see it. I can see suspending you for a day.
Right.
Like that, they do have, like authority has to have that 3 days.
Yeah.
Well,
I feel like that's
how about
okay.
the other kid?
Jojo says, but Wendy lives in California. And that is true. But I have 2 sets of kids. I have 30-something-year-old kids and I have a 14-year-old. So in the 30-something-year-old kids, that was the same rule even then. And even for the 14-year-old, now they'll just kick her out of school permanent, like expel, like you said. And yeah, it's rough.
My kid got in trouble for fighting back, and he got suspended. And I was like, all right, well,
yeah,
you got suspended. It is what it is. But I'm not going to necessarily punish you at home. But then when he does something stupid, and he's, wrongfully in the wrong, and then he gets punished at home.
My dad taught us don't ever start a fight because that makes you a jerk and a bully. But you better finish it or don't come home. That's what I was.
Oh yeah, my dad was very, very insistent on, don't expect you don't want me to fight your battles.
Yeah.
Both for my sake and your sake.
Yep.
Okay, where did that piece go? We can't start the night.
Oh no, we already have a lost piece, folks. Okay. We need to have like a little a music clip or something for when people's pieces get lost.
I lost a piece before we even went live.
He did.
So this when Ron comes back, I'm going to ask him this because this is a good question for what we're talking about. Is being sensitive a weakness or a strength in your opinion, Ron? Oh, do you have his headphones on?
All
Sorry.
right.
You got to ask him again.
Ron, I have a question for you, which is relevant to our conversation.
I answer questions.
Awesome.
Yeah.
I'm a lawyer. Is being sensitive a weakness or a strength?
Yes. It's a weakness. But
Tell us more.
But it is a weakness that makes you a more humane person.
Oh.
Not every weakness. I mean, you might say, then therefore it's a strength. The fact is, we start with it being a weakness because it makes you. If you in a world in which people are willing to inflict pain on others, some people are unwilling to do that, and some people are willing to do that. So, prima facie, it's at the very beginning of the outset, those who are willing to inflict pain on others have an advantage. And I will tell you that to this day, I recognize that people who have a killer instinct or who are more callous about the effect of how they treat others have gone further than I have, often on less talent, which would, I mean, almost everyone has less talent, to be fair, but
that's right.
No, I mean, it is a hard, it took me a very long time to learn that merely being very good at what I do was not nearly enough to succeed to the level that I had thought I would. But I wouldn't want to be any other way. So if it's a weakness, then it is the weakness that I embrace. But I wouldn't go so far as to call it a strength because, you know, the ones who don't have that sensitivity, and I guess to some extent, we might be bleeding into people who with different levels of ethical, sensibilities and whatnot. But it is who you are. The most important thing, though, is to find people like you, and live in a world where, to the extent that you possibly can, where that's valued. My wife is a very sensitive person, and I remember when one of my sons first went to boarding school, and when he came back, he said, "I never realized until I went away to school what an unusual family we are, that we actually take into consideration how our conduct affects other people in ways that the whole world, I thought everyone was like that, but they're not." He had to learn some hard lessons in his years of growing up also because of his sensitivity. But he's an outstanding person. It's a better way to live. As long as there are, having said that, you do need some really badass people around you.
Yes.
Someone's got to do the hard stuff that maybe those softies aren't prepared to do.
Well, that's been the argument for psychopaths. Like, I do a lot of family law and criminal law, and surprisingly, those things go hand in hand quite often. And people will always come in and be like, "Oh, my ex or soon to be ex is either a psychopath or they're a narcissist or whatever." And but there's an argument to be had from geneticists and historians that was a necessary trait at some point, because you needed those people that could go out and commit all these heinous acts, raid and pillage and all that stuff, and then go home and kiss their wife and child goodnight, without any sort of repercussions or PTSD or anything from it. It might be that the real psychopaths, in other words, there are people who are hard, and who are much more comfortable with hardness than the softies. And I'm on a scale of 1 to 5, I'm not the softest. I am a litigator. I have destroyed people on the stand. I did punch Mitch Schwartz back. I mean, I'm not that bad. But I will say that it might be that because of the genetically adaptive benefits of being hard, that we end up getting the overly hard, the callous, the psychopaths who feel nothing for anyone but themselves. And I think there's nothing adaptive about that at all. Fair?
I love it.
No, I like that approach. I can respect that approach.
I would disagree maybe slightly, and only because
I'll kill you. I'll hunt you down and I'll slit your throat from ear to ear. I'm sorry.
I smell the blood of an Englishman.
Oh, I almost died.
To make my bread.
I would disagree with that only slightly, because I think that some of those actual, psychopaths possibly are still fulfilling those roles, right? Like, and I'm gonna get in trouble for this one. Most of our elite fighting forces, those dudes are absolutely psychopaths.
Is that true?
They're absolutely psychopaths.
100%.
The SEALs, the Delta guys, those guys are absolutely psychopaths. They would have to be.
Yep.
to do the things that they're capable of doing. And so I would only agree slightly. Otherwise,
it could be that lawyers should probably avoid using clinical terms involved that they don't really understand the meaning of. Maybe that's the actual answer.
Well, I am no lawyer, sir.
Oh, that's probably fair.
I am a disabled veteran and a goat farmer on YouTube. That's what I am.
All right. So the point is right. So you have both. First of all, you know the psychopaths better than we do.
Yes, he does.
Yes, sir. Yes,
and
sir.
Secondly, you're a freaking goat farmer,
which also makes me probably a little bit of a psychopath.
Well,
I thought it was going to make you a softie, not a psychopath.
There's something non-adaptive about that. I'll agree with that.
Man, I'm missing a piece.
Oh, David.
Sure you are,
supposed to
Dave.
set the example for our guests. Don't lose pieces.
Don't lose your peace of mind, man.
That's why the goats are here.
Mrs. Valhalla is also a goat farmer. And are we saying she's sensitive, or is she, no, let's not answer that. I like where we are going with that.
Oh, I used a 4 and I was supposed to use a 3.
Yeah, it'll get you every time. Counting.
I'm learning.
I got to take my hoodie off.
It's getting hot, right? So for those of you who have never tuned in for our streams before, we have the libation, right? We have the libation in the title because we encourage drinking on this stream, and we usually announce what we're drinking before.
Oh yeah.
I noticed we didn't do that yet, David.
I got my Michelob Ultra right here, and in fact, I'm halfway through my first one because it took a bit for Valhalla to get our guest here. Mm-hmm. So I got one more waiting in the wings.
Awesome.
And I am, of course, drinking the usual.
Wrong one.
Wrong camera.
Sorry. Oh my gosh. Sorry, guys.
You'll get there.
Thanks,
get there.
Babe. I love
you.
you.
And of course, drinking the usual Yingling. Great American beer.
By a great American guy. And what's Ron got? Oh, Ron pulling out the
Polar seltzer.
Because Ron has to drive back home from the office.
We can Uber
we
you.
Encourage it. We don't require it.
That's right. That's right.
No, and also, by the way, I'm not much of a drinker. I mean, when I do drink, I'm a lot of fun.
Right?
But perhaps a bit too much fun for this stage of my life.
This is my opportunity to drink is during these streams. Otherwise, I don't drink. So I take full advantage, and then try to get down out of the treehouse without falling after a later stream. That's the best part.
I'm having trouble finding the 3s though. Some people say I need a 3.
So the way I usually do it is I empty out a bag and then sort the bag one bag at a time.
Yeah,
group them together.
Yeah, right. But that would have required some degree of preparation.
One piece right here, but
you
I'm leaving it on the outside so that when I find it, eventually I can add it.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah, you'll find it.
And I'm building the Empire State Building, remember? And so the tolerances, there's not a lot of room for mistake.
You know what?
Okay, we're building a really super. When I was born, and well into my early childhood, this was the Empire State Building. Was still.
Oh, it's called something different now, isn't it?
No, not the Empire State Building. That one they're not going to change. They changed the Sears Tower.
The Sears Tower, you're right. The Sears Tower. My bad.
I didn't know they changed it.
But the Empire State Building in Florida, and it was the
tallest building, right?
Yep. And I watched the World Trade Center going up.
Wow.
I mean, not every day, but I remember it.
Yeah.
I didn't watch it going up, but I watched it going the other way.
For that. Not too soon. It's fine. David once had a couple of girl drinks and called court. It's best he doesn't drink, Old Line Red says. We remember that.
During the day, anyway.
Girl drinks.
I had a bottle of Prosecco. It was a bad day at work. It was just a stressful day at work. And I got on stream with somebody who was streaming a trial, and I drunk dialed the court.
He didn't drunk dial. He on purpose dialed.
Yeah.
He just happened to be drunk.
Where the heck am I going to find this now? I might have to just go home and just call off the whole thing if I can't find this sleeper.
Well, we can't have a stream without our special guest star.
No, you can't. And
We
you,
cannot.
well, you could. You actually
We
could,
would
but
be
it wouldn't be
lost
nearly as
without
fun.
Ron. We would be
You know what
lost.
the beauty of Lego is that you can be adaptive and overcome, and
Yes.
you know.
Oh no, I'm not going to start cheating this early.
Dave
This
was
is-
cheating.
I like how David
started.
calls it adaptive and Ron interprets that as cheating.
Because I know what a bullshit euphemism is when I hear one.
Oh, because you're an attorney. I get it.
Yes, because we employ them all the time. It's like when you're running late to court, and you tell your secretary, call the court, call the chambers and tell them that we're on the way over. We'll be there in 15 minutes.
Oh no.
Yeah. Every judge knows when the lawyer says 15 minutes, it's 25 minutes.
Yeah.
And that's when you get to and that's only when you get to security.
So then it's another 15 minutes after that. Yeah.
So when Ron messaged Valhalla and said 20 minutes, and then we didn't go live for 45
For 40 minutes. Now we know why.
We all know.
No, it was a 20-minute drive. That was actually entirely true.
Oh, okay. Cool.
But I had to go to the bathroom, and
Of course.
Okay, now we're back in business here, though.
Wanda says, Dave, it was brilliant. Shine bright. We agree. So Valkyrie's been enjoying some libations this evening. Valkyrie, what are you drinking, sweetheart?
Oh,
And
Valkyrie
Jill says,
is
lawyer
Valhalla's
time.
Wife in the chat.
Valkyrie is my better half.
She's the better of all the things. She's pretty amazing.
I'm a big fan.
I'm a big fan too.
I smell a fire, and I'm not sure I should.
Zach says, good to see y'all finally got an intelligent guest on. No names mentioned.
Well,
I think he's talking about Farrell because I think he and Farrell are feuding right now.
That could
Fake feuding, not real feuding, just fake feuding.
Farrell feuds with everyone, and it's not fake.
She does not. She's perfect. Leave her alone.
It's so cool to be perfect, I'm told.
So,
I
Ron,
like
you
it.
have a
I
YouTube
enjoy it.
channel. Sorry.
I do.
Is this a new YouTube channel? Because I didn't think I'd seen it as of, last year or something. Is it new, or have you always had it?
No, but I didn't really start doing anything with it until the last year or so.
Okay. All right. That's what I thought. And so what are you covering on your YouTube channel?
Well, it's usually law oriented. So I have two channels. One is my podcast, Culmination Podcast. Culmination.
Oh, that's good. I like
Culmination,
that.
completion, culmination.
Love it.
And that one is just episodes of the podcast, clips of the podcast, and other legal things and stuff is on Ron Coleman Lawyer. Whenever searching for me on YouTube, you always must use the word lawyer, or you're going to get a very different Ron Coleman as a result.
Ronnie.
Trust me on that.
We don't want
You'll
the
know
wrong-
immediately that it's not me.
Ronnie
Oh.
Coleman, the bodybuilder.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah, awesome.
Big Ron Coleman.
Big Ron Coleman.
I mean, he is a body. He's legit huge.
He's legit huge. He's seen
He was
better
one of
days.
the biggest. Yeah, he's getting a little.
I was thinking
down
someone
now.
completely different, so I'm glad you guys pointed it out.
Oh yeah,
Well, it's
I
not
know
the
my
most
body
uncommon
builder.
name in the world.
Mr. Olympia. That's right, Zach.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, he
Apparently
was a
real
giant
into a
golden
guy.
being.
My dad was a bodybuilder when I was a kid in the olden days, and I got to meet.
Really?
Yes, and I got to meet Arnold Schwarzenegger. I got to meet Lou Ferrigno. I grew up
Wow.
hanging out with them. Yeah,
Wow.
not hanging out all the time, but yeah,
You
because
met the Hulk?
yes, sir. Well, back in the olden days, they weren't famous yet. They were famous locally and they were famous in the circuit, but they weren't like on TV yet. And I met Arnold when he was making Pumping Iron.
Wow, you really have a pedigree there.
I really do. I have a photo. There's a man who's super famous for having the biggest thighs in the world at the time. And
You say, careful, Wendy. With
Not-
the, where you
Not where I
going.
thought we were going there. Not where I thought we were going.
his legs were like this big. Each leg was like this big. And his name was Mike. His name is Mike Katz. And I have a photo of him. doing like a muscle pose, and he's got my sister and I each on one. We're hanging off his biceps as little girls. Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah, it was fun.
So how was it having a dad that's a bodybuilder?
Well, it was really hard to get a date.
Oh, really?
Yes, I found out at my 20-year class reunion that the boys were all in love with me, but they were afraid to ask me out because my dad was scared of them.
And they don't realize, do they, that most bodybuilders aren't necessarily particularly strong or fearsome as, guys. I mean, unlike, yes, you might cast Lou Ferrigno as
right
the Hulk,
but he was he was a gentle man. Lou Ferrigno was very sweet. Yeah. My dad was pretty scary though. He's also a combat veteran, so it was like I said, it was hard to get a date, but yeah,
good man. He's a good man.
Ron, do you for lack of a better term, ferret out your boys' dates before they take it too seriously?
Are you asking me?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Our boys, all 3 of them are married.
Mike, Cat.
They don't go out with a girl until we review the information about the girl and her family.
Yeah, of course.
Okay.
And once we say yes, they then check out our family. And before they go out, there is a service. There is among Ashkenazi Jews, there are certain genetic diseases that you could be a carrier for, like Tay-Sachs, but a number of other ones.
Mm-hmm.
So we have to everyone gets tested who's in the market, and they exchange numbers, and you don't know whether you're a carrier or not. Or you exchange numbers, and then they come back and say these people are not a problem. They can go forward. But then what happens is, the dating takes place, and if they like each other, their first couple, usually it's unusual to not have a second date. Everyone's entitled pretty much to a second date. And then, most of my kids didn't date more than probably 5 or 6 times before they got engaged to their present wives and mothers of their children. My wife and I went out 8 times.
Was that unusual?
That's a lot, right?
It's in there. It's not, we didn't have our parents, we didn't come from the same background as our kids do. Neither one of us came from religious homes. So we were kind of managing it ourselves, but still through an intermediary.
Okay.
I remember Joe talking about this, and this was the first time I'd ever heard about it, but it was because his YouTube may have attracted some unwanted attention, and he was a little nervous about the whole situation. And I found the whole process rather intriguing.
This somehow came up on in a stream.
Yeah, he was talking about it on a live stream.
He even gave us the benefit of listening to a song that he taught his son for.
Not a song. It's not a song.
Not a song. Sorry. What? Go then.
No, he was practicing
Torah,
reading the Torah.
Yeah.
Oh yes, he was teaching his son. Right, this is around the time of his son's bar mitzvah, I guess.
Correct. Yes.
Yeah. Which was I guess now a couple of years ago. So the main difference, one of the very, very few differences between Joe and me is that he has girls.
Yes.
And that's a very different position to be in, because the market in our community favors guys overwhelmingly. So really? It's a little bit different of a parenting experience. The mothers of girls are the parents of girls are much more nervous.
Explain. What do you mean by that?
What do I mean by that? There are more guys than girls.
So nervous as in they need to hustle. They need to get their girls married off because there's a lot more.
Well, it's just the market is in favor of the men. They've got more options, so to speak.
That's right.
Sort of like what, well, not exactly, not anything like, but similar to, the China 1 child policy, they ended up with many more men, and now they're having a similar issue for very different reasons, obviously.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not at all the same, Valhalla, but good try.
I thought it through and realized that wasn't a good.
If you look at a traditional societies where there are, where like you can't look at our contemporary society today where people don't even get married and have multiple children. Like it's an entirely different experience, from the traditional. So like it would be more appropriate to look at what people who got married in the 50s and 60s went through without necessarily being religious. Okay.
My wife is Swedish, and their culture doesn't favor, or it doesn't disfavor marriage, but it's not like a requirement. Like you can live together and have a whole bunch of kids
the Italians
and
are
be
like that
committed for years and 20, 30 years, but you don't have to get married. And
well,
so
that's always going to be true. But the point though is that if you're not married, then someone is at risk of the other person not feeling as committed as they might otherwise, right? I mean, you might be you might be committed, then it works out okay. But I'm sorry.
Holding them to the fire.
Go back to what you were saying. I'm sorry.
Oh yeah, no. I was just saying that she was like perfectly content with like us never getting married, and that would be fine. But for me, it was like, I kind of feel like if we're going to be committed, then we should, commit with the marriage sort of thing.
You owe it to your kids. I think there's a difference.
Yeah, I do too.
They know that you are. And my wife and I, as she always says, we remain married out of spite. No, that wasn't what she said. That was what Woody Allen said about his parents. No, but what we say is that if we can stay together, anyone can stay together.
But that's setting I feel like that sets a different role model for your children than someone like me who divorces all the time. So
Wendy's been married like 12 times, and
it's pretty ridiculous.
Yeah,
it's ridiculous. It's not cool.
We love her anyway.
Yeah. No, she admits that it's like ridiculous. Yeah.
It's not my favorite.
Well, but you're in California. Have you spent your whole life in California?
Yes, sir. Born and raised. Okay. Yes. Yeah.
All right. So you're meeting men from California. So you're already behind the 8 ball, right? I mean, your chances of success under the best of circumstances.
Wow.
Valhalla and MLS have brought that to my attention.
Nail and hammer right there.
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah.
Right on the head.
So,
thanks, Joe.
Did I mention Ron's really smart, y'all? He's really smart.
You know what? I love these conversations, and I love that. I love learning, and so I'm happy to. And by the way, I do love marriage, and I do appreciate it, and I do wish that my children had grown up with, their parents together. I wish that had happened. Sometimes I wish that for them. I didn't choose wisely, and thank God now I've been to therapy. And so if I ever chose again to make a decision like that, it would be with a lot more education and different motivations behind it.
I like the idea of a culture, of a family, or like a community that sort of teaches you that ahead of time without the need for counseling later on. Not saying that it's bad Wendy, that you got.
Well, I was also raised agnostic, so I didn't have a religious background that.
But I don't think it needs to be religious.
I don't know if I agree with you, David. I feel like people that have a stronger religion, or somebody that has that sort of higher purpose for staying married, I feel like they might be more successful. I could be completely wrong, of course. I've been wrong once before.
Once.
Okay, 3 times before. Sutton Creek Productions gifted 5 lawyer Ron Coleman memberships.
Thank you, Sutton Creek Productions. I'm very grateful.
We love
very
it.
Grateful.
Thank you.
Thank you, Phoenix, for joining also.
Yes, a lot of people are saying hello to you, Ron, in the chat, and I'm sorry.
I appreciate it. Well,
Yes.
this is a real multitasking challenge, even
It's
for someone of
difficult.
extraordinary intelligence such as myself, because first of all, it's an engaging conversation with other intelligent people involving relatively subtle and nuanced, opinions on all kinds of issues. And also you're trying to build a Lego. And you haven't
pride
built a
ourselves
Lego
on here.
This is why we like this stream.
Yes.
See,
And
we get
this
to
is, by the way, now
sidetrack
you know
with-
why I'm here. This is the only reason I'm here, because these two gentlemen could do anything without me, except it's difficult to interact with chat. And
Yes, that's right. That's right.
It's difficult. And it's so good to see. I see a lot more people coming in tonight, and we appreciate you all joining us. I have a question. I have a question for you, Ron. Are you allergic to anything? Hard-hitting questions.
Nothing that you mean like foods? I mean, I have
Sure. Food, bee stings, pollen.
nothing special. I mean, I have hay fever. I do take an antihistamine every day.
That's annoying. I hate it.
How is that a laugh line?
I don't know. I'm a horrible person. I tried
Maybe
to
it
tell
goes
you
into
that.
the weakness category to Valhalla.
Yeah, tell me about more of your sensitive allergies, sir.
Oh, wait. So, Hella, you have not met Mr. Coleman before? I thought you had.
No,
So-
he has. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
No. Excited utterance in the chat. She says you guys haven't met yet.
Sorry. Yeah.
She's an Australian.
Oh, hi,
but we
AU.
tolerate her anyways.
She probably would like to have you on her stream sometime. And I know I'm speaking out of turn, but
I am really a stream whore. I will say yes to just about anybody.
then you and she will get along well.
You're not supposed to say that. This was going to be a tough get. You rarely go on other people's
Well,
channels.
he was a tough get for Valhalla, just not for EU.
Actually, no, he responded pretty quick. He was like, "Yeah, I'll do it. No problem. I'll be there."
Yeah, I try to. I'm easy. Anything but do my work.
I love that.
So I was doing this appellate brief, and Excited had invited me on to her stream for the Sarah Boone trial.
Oh.
And I was like, I really want to do it, but I need to get this brief done. And then I kind of filed the motion for an extension, and I'm like, they haven't granted it yet, but I feel like they're going to. I'll jump on the stream. And so that's what I did.
That's why we're friends.
That's right.
That's why we're friends. And the thinking is, whether they grant the extension or not, I'm not getting this. It's not going to get done.
Yeah, right.
So what am I going to do? Write a third of the kill my night, get
Stress
all
out
that
over
time,
nothing. Ugh.
write a third of the brief, which isn't going to do me any good,
right?
Or slide into the stream, have a ball, and with God's help, I get the extension, which the odds are pretty good that I'm going to get them.
But
well, and my thought is
Yeah.
too is that so it was due, like, you got to file it by midnight on Friday, but I filed my motion for an extension. The answer to the motion isn't due until the 25th or something. I'm like, well, if I file it by before business
Wait, the
hours,
answer to the motion for an extension?
yeah.
In other words, all right, did you have time to seek consent from the adversary?
The funny thing is that there is no adversary yet, because I'm still in. It's just on my end. So I filed my client filed the notice of appeal without me, with the prior attorney, and then asked me to write the brief and file in. And I was like, okay, sure, I'll do this. And so I just filed the motion for extension of time. We haven't done anything for it to be adversarial. It's not really adversarial.
Okay.
But my thought is that if I file my brief before business hours on Monday, what's the difference?
Well, the time will be different. Like it'll say when the email.
But
is
the court
received,
already pushed it out. I got word from the clerk. They're like, we're not doing anything on the case until the court decides what's happening with the motion.
Is this a motion to extend? Oh, this is this is state court appellate?
Yeah, state appellate court. Yeah.
All right, so all bets are off because every state is different, and within states,
yeah,
there are excited utterance. Hold that thought, okay?
Yeah. We'll put you guys in touch later.
States are different, and even appellate courts within states are different. like in New York, you have these different departments,
right?
And they often have their own stupid ass procedural rules that do not translate from one. Like you think this is the same court level and the same court system. So what works in the first department should work in the third department, right? No, not necessarily. I'm a judge. I can do. I mean, really.
So I filed my motion, and then I didn't hear anything by like noon. So I started calling the clerk.
Oh, they loved it.
Yeah, and I was like, oh, hey, just wondering like what the likelihood of this. Well, I also I filed it quickly, and I had a typo in the motion.
This is Monday.
This was
David
yesterday.
had a typo? No.
This is still Friday.
This is still Friday, yeah. And so at noon, I was like, hey, I got a typo in this. Should I resend this, or what should we do?
In other words, you found an excuse to call again.
Exactly. Yeah.
In other words, hi, this is Jimmy. Is Joni home? I think I left something in her car, and I wanted to. Okay.
And then I was like, so do I need to like file this again to clear up this typo or not? And then so she cleared it with
lame.
She cleared it with the judge's clerk and was like, no, you don't need to file anything new. And I was like, oh, okay, so are we gonna get like an opinion today? Because it's kind of due today, and she's like, oh, I don't know, let me check. And she's going back and forth, and the response was essentially, well, it's not it's probably not going to get denied. Most of these don't ever get denied, but they're not going to do anything on the case. Like if you don't file it, the case is not getting dismissed until we've made a decision on the motion, which is most likely to get granted. And I took that to be like, okay, I don't have to file this tonight. That's what
we're losing them. We're losing them. Please, you got to move. Pull out. We got to get this conversation back to humanity, okay? Because you and I could go on all night on this topic. And believe me, we genuinely love trading war stories of the.
My point was I tried to find an excuse so that I could stream with excited utterance. That was kind of my point.
That's how good that experience is. Gotcha.
Yes.
Hi, she's over there. Oh, this way.
She's everywhere. Well, she's part of our group, and we really enjoy her, and we hope that you find time to. I'm pretty sure she's talking about the Sarah Boone trial. She wants you to come and comment on or come check something.
Sarah Boone. Wow. If she is going to she wants to find a way to find Sarah Boone totally innocent. That should be a party.
I would almost argue that we don't really know who zipped the suitcase shut, do we? Like it's not in evidence yet.
Well, she admitted it. She admitted to it.
Did she admit it?
Yeah.
Well, listen. I'm just saying.
People make false confessions all the time.
Oh, that's a different. If we're going to go there, okay. But even going with the confession.
Thank you for becoming a member.
Oh, thank you, Excited Utterance. That I'm very, very, very. I'm so much.
She's pretty cool. We love her.
She seems to be cool.
Look at the little. They got like the ramp, and then they have like the little.
I think you're her favorite half Irish.
This is how it's going with me, folks. Okay.
Yeah, dude.
I have made a spatula. Where the heck?
Done with yours, Valhalla, already?
Not quite.
Valhalla's almost done, Ron. What are we gonna do?
We're gonna not finish it, but we're gonna just keep going until the stream is over. And as far as we get, that's how far we're gonna get.
I love that.
Well,
Ron, I really
Valhalla,
like
don't tell him.
Okay.
I really like your go with the flow attitude. It's very refreshing.
What other possible attitudes could you have on a Lego streaming YouTube channel at 11 o'clock at night? What could possibly, what are the alternatives?
See, you guys make fun of me for living in California, but it's only 7:57 here, and that's all good for me.
No, that's fine.
Weird.
Just when you wake up in the morning, you'll still be in California.
Exactly. So who's the real loser?
Wait, but can I tell you what's frustrating? So all my friends that live in other states complain about the Californians moving to their states, but then they tell me I need to move to their state so I can enjoy my life. And I'm like, but you
Well, like I
want to
said, you can move here. You just can't vote Democrat.
Yeah,
anymore. You
Valhalla
have
said
to
I can't vote
Republican.
if I move there.
That's the rules. I didn't make them. I just uphold them.
Valhalla, I follow this
driving me
couple or this
up
whole
the
family that moved from California like 10 years ago to Tennessee, and they just love it, blah, blah, blah. And so I post in the comments, oh my gosh, I'm from California and I really enjoy your videos. It's really cool. And plus their attitude is refreshing. Like they're not trying to change anything. They're like blending into their new environment. And I said something about being from California also because they're from California. And this jerk wrote on there, hey, California lady, stay out of our state. And I'm like, oh, I'm just commenting on how nice they are.
Because he didn't know you. He didn't know you.
Well, to be fair, you guys in California do destroy a lot of things that you touch. And, you know, if I was a betting man, I would say that you would move to Tennessee and then try to destroy the very thing that you moved there for.
That would imply that I have an extraordinary amount of ambition left inside of my 56-year-old body, and I just don't anymore. I don't care anymore. When I was young, I would have tried to change the world. Well, I did try to change the world. And now I'm cool. I'm complacent. I have a housekeeper now. I don't care
Yeah,
anymore.
we heard about your college level protests.
Yeah, that was fun.
College level protest. That's an
Yeah,
words.
I was a
When she was in college, she went to a protest once and ran into a friend of her dad's. That's her godfather and also a politician on the other side of the argument.
Yeah.
And they gave hugs. That was
We
the
hugged.
extent of her changing
And we
the
pissed
world.
off everybody. We pissed off his side. I pissed off my side. It was funny.
That is.
But you know what? It's all love. It's all good.
Let's face it. If I don't find this number 8 piece, and that's what I've spent the last 20 minutes doing, is trying to find this puppy here. Okay.
Yeah.
I just can't. I guess I should double check.
Did you open all the bags? Because
Yeah,
sometimes there's multiple bags. Are your bags numbered, by the way?
Joe's
Never
weren't
mind.
on that set.
It was on the floor. It was on the
Found
floor.
it.
Go.
It was
It's
on the-
always on the
Outstanding.
floor. Sometimes it's on people's seats. Sorry, and let me fix this.
That's what that's why I was tearing apart the treehouse looking for this.
She said seats. Okay. All right.
California
course-
people turn things to stone, Pam says. Like Madame Medusa, you mean? Like if you
Yes.
look at us too long?
Yes, that's exactly what she means.
You don't have a very good reputation across the rest of the country. I'll say that.
You don't.
It's a good thing
And
there's
we-
20 million of us that don't care, right?
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
man.
'cause,
Just
you know,
stay in California. Do whatever the hell you want to do in California, but leave us the rest
Yeah.
alone.
we're okay with that. We're okay with that.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure I never said I was moving anywhere else except out of the country one day. Leave all you-
Everyone
I'm
in
gonna leave all you
California has
behind.
said they're moving out of the country at some point.
Well, so this is what I found out. I called my CPA because I had to pay taxes again last week. And she
This
explained
is
to
what
me,
started this conversation, by the way.
It
She started
did.
complaining about the taxes, but is
My
unwilling
IRS
to
bill
make
is-
any changes that would help that situation.
you know what she told me, my CPA? She said, first of all, your state income tax isn't what's killing you. It's the IRS bill. So it doesn't matter where you live in the country. You're going to have this huge IRS bill, number one. Number two, she said, if I leave the country and I don't like become a citizen in another country, I still have to pay California and federal taxes here. So,
Oh yeah.
but
Yeah, but your federal taxes are also imposed by the very people that you vote for.
The very.
yeah, but I've paid taxes no matter who's president. I've been paying taxes since I was 14. So
But you
I
could
mean,
be
there's been a
paying
lot of
less
presidents.
taxes. That's kind of
Yeah, there's a quantity thing,
Well, I also used to make $12 an hour when I was 20. I don't make that anymore. So
Again, you can still vote for someone who says, "I would like to lower your taxes." Just a
all
thought.
say that.
Do they?
I'll just beat
Do
up
they?
on
Because I
Wendy
haven't
about her
heard. I
political
haven't heard
beliefs
Kamala
with
say
the
that.
rest of the street.
Yeah, she said she wants to lower taxes for working class people or give them.
You're
child-
not working class, ma'am. I'm sorry.
Yeah, you're
Well,
not. Your maid
I-
is.
yeah.
Yeah, you're made. Yeah, you're made.
See? My housekeeper would appreciate it, and the landscaper, and the
all-
handyman.
Yes.
Oh, that's
Those
funny.
people. Those people is who she's
Sounds like
talking.
you're doing okay.
Well, that's why I pay so much taxes, Ron. That's my conundrum. That's
Because we're doing okay.
Yeah, Wendy does just
Everyone
fine.
who does okay is paying a lot of taxes.
Yeah.
What do you do, Wendy? What's your day job, if I may ask?
You
could
may
just give
ask.
me a
Thank you
hint.
for asking. That's very sweet. I am I'm a retired government employee, a federal employee. I used to work for the Department of Defense. And so I took my retirement and made investments very young. And so I'm a commercial real estate investor. I don't invest in any I no longer deal with people like that much. Like I don't want to deal with people's residences. I just do commercial. So
Got it. No, I get that. Of course.
So that's what I do now. I just right now
Wow.
the rent income from those passive rental income.
Good for you.
I got really, really lucky young because my stepdad was a real estate mogul. So he taught us all how to do it. You know, like he didn't give us anything. He just taught us how to do it. Like he made us figure it out ourselves, but he taught us. Yeah. I got really lucky. He gave my very first gift he ever gave me when I was 18 years old was the book Rich Dad Poor Dad by Robert Kiyosaki.
Yeah, I actually heard a lot. Robert Kiyosaki himself is a complete scam artist. You know that, right?
100. I'm sure, but the book was really good.
Evidently, the book was better than the man who he didn't follow his own advice or something. I don't remember quite how it went
I
down.
followed the advice, and I'm very well. I also followed my dad's advice, and so I got really lucky. And then
Good for you. Okay, good. So I guess you are doing okay. Thank God.
Wait, he was like a scam guy or something? He like went bankrupt?
Oh yeah,
I didn't know that.
There are a couple of good. Yeah, there's a couple of good videos on him.
That's amazing. The guy who wrote the book went bankrupt.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, he's a complete phony. He's an internet guru basically now. That's what he does.
Yeah. Well,
I remember how popular that was when that book came out. Everybody praised to the high heavens that book.
Well, I'll tell you what it did for me is because at the time I hadn't even started college yet, but the lessons from the book were still in my brain as I was going through college and I was going through careers. And I ended up coincidentally in a federal government job, which the author of the book, his dad was a government worker who was like, just get a good government job and you'll always be okay. Well, yeah, you'll always be okay, but you're not going to be wealthy necessarily living like that. And since I was a single parent, my goal was to always be not just self-sufficient, but to be wealthy enough for my children to flourish so that I could pay for college and pay not just get them through life, but own a home. And then I bought more properties and I got really lucky. And
it's incredible. And
I made
timing is a big part of that, of course. And you seem to have chosen your timing well.
I got really, yes. About 15 years ago, nobody had heard of Boise, Idaho. And I'm like, you know what? I'm going to buy some property there. And
wow.
I did. And then 5 years later, I got lucky.
I'm really impressed. Those are all the things that I've never done. Gotten lucky, made investments.
What's that like? What's it like to invest and have passive income? I'd like to know that.
Yeah.
I don't hate it. I don't hate my life. I really hate paying taxes.
You just hate the taxes, yeah.
Well, this is what's irritating to me, and I'm sure that I'm preaching to the choir here, but I hate that like I've already earned money, which I paid taxes on the first time I earned it. So I take that money and I invest it in something that I paid property taxes on and pay all kinds of now I'm paying income taxes in Idaho and California because my
well, wait till you hear what Kamala Harris wants to do with capital gains.
Oh, don't tell me that. Don't make me hate her.
She's
you
horrible.
Haven't heard what she wants to do with capital gains? No. You are in the industry. Everything about you, Wendy, screams don't vote for her, but you continuously do it.
Really?
They brainwashed her young.
That is something. She doesn't make any sense, Wendy. I mean, the woman is out of her economics. I mean, her general Democrats' economic policies in our time are insane. They're just so rich. And you're a rich person from what I'm gathering here. You don't want to say it because it's kind of a gross thing to say, but you seem to be a pretty rich person. So they want your money and you live in California. Oh my goodness. Listen, make your choices. You make your choices, hon. You know.
I know. Well, I do
Okay,
have to
so
say
what
though,
is
I do live in paradise. I literally every day when I take my 14-year-old to school, I've got the foothills to the east and the ocean to the west, and I'm not mad about that.
Yeah, my friend Mike
have to
Cernovich frequently reminds people. In the last few months, he's been tweeting pictures of how beautiful it is around his house and saying, say what you want about California. This is God's country.
Oh, it's so beautiful, you guys.
He says, yes, if you want to focus on needles all over the ground, in San Francisco, you can, but this is a gigantic state, and so much of it is so
San
beautiful.
Francisco is like this. San Francisco is like 7 square miles big. It's tiny. Like I live near a metropolis. I also live near a rural area. People around me hunt, they fish, they travel. It's beautiful. And I said, I have
making up
mountains.
Stories, Wendy. Why are you making up stories?
Oh my God! I drive 3 hours and I'm in the snow. I drive 1 hour. I'm in the ocean.
There we are, y'all.
Oh, Valhalla, he's a cutie.
That is very nice. That is great.
He's got a little cake. Nice. Yeah, that's a birthday cake.
Aww.
Wendy still has to yet see the movies, so
I've tried. I've now tried 4 times.
Well,
Have you,
Wendy,
Ron, have you seen Harry Potter movies yet?
Who, me?
Yes.
Yeah.
I think I saw the first one.
Oh, okay.
I read all the books.
Oh.
The books are one of my go-tos. I'll reread those every year or so.
My adult kids.
Yeah, my kids. My kids sometimes will be found rereading those books. They were an important part of their childhood.
Absolutely, those and now Game of Thrones, the Game of Thrones series. I'll reread those constantly.
Song of Fire and Ice.
Yeah.
Why am I confused about this?
About the Lego or about the books?
Yeah, no, about the Lego. Old Line Red gets pretty hacked off at anyone who says that he doesn't pay or she doesn't pay his or her fair share.
Well, it's a brilliant campaign.
What's fair share? Who's fair share?
It's brilliant. It makes you pit against every other person that's obviously not paying their fair share for whatever reason. It's just
it makes people hate wealthy, but everyone wants to be wealthy. Right.
Well, also, I've been poor, and when I was poor, I still had to pay taxes. It's not like poor people don't pay. I don't understand why people make it against rich against poor because it
sells. Because there's
division.
people out there that are envious.
But it's a lie. Poor people pay tons of taxes all the time. Working class people pay taxes. And
I pay a ton of taxes, and I'm poor.
David, you are oh my God, Ron! Talk about rich people. David is
this dude belongs to a yacht club. What are you talking about,
and a golf
bro?
club. And a golf club.
No, I do not
yachts.
belong to a golf club.
He also owns 2 yachts.
I do not.
David.
No.
And he has a log cabin.
Lies.
He has a tree house. Look at his tree house. It's better than my house.
David.
I do have an awesome tree house.
It's beautiful.
Awesome tree.
His treehouse has insulation. It has beautiful wood paneling.
I got a little heater behind me here.
Oh, really? So you're saying poor people should be happy to just have insulation? Is that what you're saying, Wendy?
Yes.
Wendy Rich?
That's where I'm going, Ron. That's where I'm going with that.
I do have to interrupt the flow slightly because I'm home alone and I need to let a dog out. So I'll be back in a few minutes.
All right.
Awesome.
We'll be
do
here.
what's right for you.
So Ron, what if you could recommend a book that you think everyone that's listening to us right now should read, what would that book be?
Oh, I did an interview.
I'm gonna read it
with Lee Smith, where he interviews peoples, the different peoples of mankind.
Yeah.
Let me pull this up. Let me find this thing.
Do you have a link you want me to put in the chat or in the description?
Well, let me see if I can find Lee Smith. Well, everyone knows who Lee Smith is.
I don't. I'm embarrassed.
That's okay. He's a very famous and very, very very good journalist.
Oh, cool. All right. Always happy.
This
to
is
learn.
but I just want to introduce. I'm actually, to some extent, I'm vamping because I'm not really sure that I want to give the same answer that I gave him. Okay, so when Lee asked me to do his podcast where he talks about books, what book would you recommend? He was rather taken aback because I didn't choose. I have all these windows open, and now stupid.
Wendy, are you able to pull it up when he shares?
No, it's not that. Yes. The problem is that StreamYard isn't letting me. Is blocking my ability to share because it.
Oh, because he's not logged in as an admin, maybe.
No,
it's not that at all. Really. No, it's not. It's not I'm allowed to share, but it's. I've got thumbnails covering this. There it is. Okay, present, share screen. Okay, so with Lee Smith. Okay, so I spoke with Lee about a book. Yes, it was because he has the series Words That Matter, a modern day book club with Lee Smith, and there's that handsome devil.
Oh, he is handsome.
He is a nice looking man, and this is the book that's me, and this is.
Love this.
Does he live in California?
No, he does not.
Okay.
He's a married man. The Power Broker. It's a long book.
The Power Broker.
That's the author, Robert Caro, and it's about a man named Robert Moses. This book is about son of a gun. Come on, let me get to the book. It's about how government can effect incredible change, but how it can really be abused, and how a person who had the best, I believe, even though he was arrogant and he was brilliant, he had the best of intentions with respect to how he wanted to use his brilliance and his power, but he really got caught up with himself and ended up, really causing a lot of social displacement, and to some extent, gets a lot of the blame for the dysfunction of New York as we know it today.
Whoa.
The amazing thing about this book is that it gives you this incredible background that you might not really appreciate of just how corrupt, like every construction project, especially if it's government construction, like everyone gets a piece of the action and everyone dips into the till, and it was really a fascinating, but it's a very, I don't know if your trip is long enough to read this book, and you have to really be interested in these kind of issues, politics and history.
Well, I just bought it, so I just bought. That's why I was pulling it up. On Amazon.
We could do that for our book group.
We could. We do have a somewhat.
I know you don't have time right now, but maybe
revised book club.
All right, so we'll go with that answer, because as it is right now, I'm utterly stumped at what this is showing. It seems like how did this go from being 2 bricks high to 3 bricks high? Okay, so this picture, it seems to me, I'm matching.
I don't like that your background is black.
I realize that we're an hour and a half in, and Ron's on step 12.
And Ron, yeah, no, because Ron has also been doing all the talking. Let's not kid ourselves here.
Let's not kid ourselves.
But Ron is also not really that much of a Legos guy, and I'm kind of, I'm up for it. I'm up for the fun. Okay,
I like it.
And you know what, David? I've never seen a black background for the Lego books. That looks really.
Those are the like architectural ones, I think.
Yeah, was that what it is? 'Cause it's
Oh.
architectural.
Yeah, I think.
I mean, I know I'm old, but like I feel like that would kind of mess with me. Like I feel like I need the white background to see what I'm doing. But
I don't know where my actual book is for this build because I'm doing it on the iPad. I have
Yeah.
the little iPad screen thing right there. But I think this one would also be a black background too. 'cause
So
it's
here's this, right? And where did that?
Yeah, it's hard to see a black Lego on a black background.
yeah, I
right?
don't care for that. I don't think that's fair. I don't like that.
Go figure.
Right. So Ron,
white
what is-
people's problems.
right?
I can't complain.
I got on the airplane recently, and I thought I always get the window seat, almost always.
I
And-
also go for the window seat whenever I have any choice.
Yes. The lovely man comes and he's looking at his ticket a little too long, which I could tell he's trying to give me the social cues about maybe I'm in the wrong seat, but he doesn't want to.
Yeah, that's right. Okay, that's legitimate. That's a way
And
that
I'm a
we
single lady
communicate.
by myself. He was trying to be respectful, and I appreciate that. So I look up and I say, "Oh, sir, is there a problem?" And he goes, "I think you're in my seat, but I kind of didn't want to say anything." And I go, "You should totally say something if I'm in your seat." I said, "I always get the window seat, but if I messed up, I should move." And he looked at me and he goes, "Ma'am, these are first world problems. We're both in first class, by the way." He goes, "These are first world problems." He goes, "I'm just going to sit down because there's only 2 seats in first class." He goes, "I'm just going to sit in the aisle." And I go, "I'm happy to move if you have, I don't know. I must have messed up." Right. But it was funny. That reminded me of that.
That's right. That's right. Well, he has good perspective.
You know what? And it really made me want to give him my seat because he was so kind about it.
And by the time the flight was over, he had sold you $15 million worth of
It's like, I have some
Florida
oceanfront
swampland.
property in Arizona.
Right,
to sell
exactly,
you, young lady. He was
So now
lovely.
this I don't understand. I've never seen a diagram like this before. And I'm not sure what I'm supposed to be doing. This is really weird looking.
They are difficult.
Look at this. I don't know if it can be shown on the iPad.
Let's see.
No, it's coming across pretty well.
So there's 3 different things. There's a dark green, a gray, and then this double gray. And then it shows where like the single pieces go and the double pieces go. I can kind of see
All
it
the single pieces, all the single pieces, all the single pieces.
All the
But
single
But it's not telling me what color they are. I don't think. This is really weird.
That looks more difficult than the printed
I know.
instructions.
That's why I'm like, I'm going to grab the book. If I can find it. I don't know where I put it. Might be
Oh,
under my chair.
I didn't know you were from Michigan, Old Line Red. We've known you since we started. Then went to
Where'd you go to college and law school in Chicago?
That's so cool.
Oh, so Chicago, you've seen some corruption in your time, of course.
Oh my gosh, I heard that's like really corrupt there.
In Old Line, where'd you go to college and law school? I went to Northwestern in Chicago.
You did? That's so cool.
It was a great experience because at least for 3 years of my life, I was outside of New York. At least I had the experience of being, and I mean, to most of the country, Chicago is essentially a version of New York. But if you're from New York, Chicago is like the back of the turnip truck. Yeah.
Right? That's
So
really
it was,
cool.
but it was a very good time to be in Chicago, the late
awesome.
80s.
I
So
love
it's-
the 80s.
It's the same layout on the book. By the way, it's a dark background here too, but it's not as dark.
Libby wants to know if this is how I met my third husband.
What's
know.
this?
Maybe
Through
he
the
means
chat?
the Lego stream. I don't know.
Ron Coleman spoofing Beyonce was not on my bingo card. So who do you listen to then, Ron?
I really have not listened to popular music in a very long time. It just doesn't interest me anymore.
No. So what did you listen to then?
Well, when I was in college, I was a DJ.
Were you?
Yeah, at in our college radio station in Princeton. And we used to play a lot of new wave, and punk. Here we go. I'll show you this.
Oh my God, like your Erasure and Duran Duran.
That's right.
Yes. Ron's my guy.
You guys are good. You're gonna. Yeah, you guys are going to get a kick out of this.
I'm gonna love this.
You are.
Is this gonna be like the Blues Brothers photo?
Not quite.
Is that you?
That's Ron Coleman. That's
Hercules.
Wow. I
love this so much. I love this.
It was those were fun times. So what did we? So what did I used to play in those days? Sex Pistols, Joe Jackson, Devo, Elvis Costello, The Clash, Laurie Anderson, Run DMC. Yeah, pretty eclectic.
We're the same
selection.
age, Ron. I love this. This is really cool.
That's awesome.
We're close. Yeah, we're in
the same era. We're the same.
No, I mean, unusual. Most YouTubers, most people that I, find myself on YouTube with, do have trouble relating to that era.
Yeah, David and Valhalla are too young for us.
I don't think so.
You weren't slinging Nirvana records?
No, that's so late 90s.
Yeah, Nirvana, I was already practicing law.
So Ron, it looks like, so you did mention that, were you not raised in the current?
I was not religious. I was not Orthodox. That's correct.
You would consider a secular?
Yeah, I was strongly affiliated, I
Sure.
considered myself very, very Jewish. And
so
with a face
ethnically,
like this.
culturally, you felt Jewish.
Ethnically, culturally, right. But then by the time I finished college, I think to a large extent, Princeton was good for sort of making me come to terms with just how effectively a person could assimilate if he wanted to, because I saw all these highly assimilated Jews at Princeton, and I knew I didn't want it, but I didn't know why. Oh, it's a Paul. Okay, old blind. Thank you.
Thank you.
Kalamazoo. Hey there, Chance, how's your new romance? The one you met at the campus dance. Wait until you see her, you'll agree. My hometown gal's the only one for me.
Get it, bro.
Yeah,
I think you're our first guest that has sung. This is brilliant. I love it.
I don't know if that's true. He's the only one that done it successfully.
So after law school, instead of starting to work, I went to a yeshiva.
Really?
A convent. Wanda, whatever it is that I'm building, it sure as hell isn't Legos.
Confidence is better than Lego.
Yes, it is. But wouldn't it be good for me to be confident that I could build this Lego as well? So I went to yeshiva for 2 years, in other words, to a rabbinical academy.
And this is after your undergrad?
After law school, actually.
Oh, after law school. Okay.
Well, after undergrad, I went on a summer program in Israel, which convinced me that my inclinations were right, that I did want to become, more observant, and little by little, I became more knowledgeable. Neil Diamond grew up in my old neighborhood of Brighton Beach. And we all grew up with Neil Diamond. There's a man who made $1 or $2 singing. Boy, what I would do for pipes and of course he was a great songwriter.
Yes.
And a great singer.
Yes.
I'm not going to try to sing a Neil Diamond song because my light baritone just will not. I appreciate Wendy. You're very good. You're very slick. But we're not buying it.
The man knows his limitations, y'all.
But thank you. But so then I thought, I made the commitment. I became a more advanced student after a couple of years. Thank you, T-Rex. I'm in favor of Vols also.
That's my team. The Go Vols. Watched that game when I was walking goats today. Bama sucks. Go Vols. Go Big O.
Yeah,
I gotta admit I don't really have a dog in that fight. So frankly, Valhalla, Your fight is my fight. You and I, you know,
That's right.
Alabama's never done
Brethren in
anything for me.
orange.
I love orange.
And now I have
It
this,
was a
you know,
good
the picture I showed you. I have these outstanding Talmudic students who are my sons, and they, you know, they're all can run rings around their old dad, which is what I really wanted for them. And meanwhile, I'm still able to practice law and do what I want to do and do it my way. Well, you know, again, I wouldn't mind being rich. I wish I would have had a real estate dad who would have showed me how
but
to.
you're rich with beautiful children.
Oh no, I don't have any regrets about
you. No,
my life. Just my wife does.
I can relate to her. I get it. It's hard out there being.
So I would be amiss if I didn't bring up the fact that you are a winning Supreme Court lawyer. Yes,
I did win in the Supreme Court. It was a great experience. It was a really great experience, and it was a great case, and it had everything going for it. And it was this is the case that known as the Slants case.
Yes.
Or the name of the case is Matal versus Tam. Simon Tam was the leader of a Asian American rock band called the Slants. And they wanted to register the name of their band as a trademark. And the United States Patent and Trademark Office told them they couldn't. And in doing so, they were actually following the law. Because at that time, the law prohibited registration of the trademark if it was disparaging. Well, here's the thing. Disparaging
Anything can be disparaging.
Right? So that was one problem. And number two is the government isn't supposed to choose sides based on the content of a message. I'm
That
way
whole First
oversimplifying.
Amendment thing.
So this had been people had in the past attempted to challenge this statute, but this was the right time because on a parallel track, the Washington Redskins were challenging it. But that was a politically uncomfortable moment, case for the Supreme Court, and I think they were, for the courts. Let's put it that way, and they were looking for a better way to address this issue, and our case was the better way. And but also, First Amendment law had come a very, very long way since the last time it had never been addressed in the Supreme Court before. And the Supreme Court ultimately decided, and we had to go through many, many levels of appeals. The Supreme Court ultimately agreed with us that government cannot censor, that it would have amounted to censorship to not give a registration because the government doesn't choose messages. It can't choose messages. Trademark registration is merely an acknowledgement that I have a product or service, I have used a name or a logo, whatever constitutes a trademark, in association with the sale or the offering for sale of those products or services. Now give me the trademark. And as long as someone else hasn't used it before you for something similar, you get the trademark. You don't get to choose whether or not it's going to hurt someone's feels. Bottom line, we won.
When was that case decided? What year?
2017. In re Tam. That's how you look. Oh, no, it was Tam versus Matal, Matal. In re Tam is what it was called until it reached the Supreme Court. Tam, TAM versus Matal, who was the head of the PTO at the time.
So it is arguably, you were, not arguably, it's factual. It's a factual statement to say you are one of the leading components of the First Amendment in the United States at this point.
It's not accurate because the word isn't component. Proponent. Maybe you mean proponent?
Proponent. My bad. Listen, the stream was late. The drinking wasn't. All right. I'm a few beers in at this point. Cut me a little bit of slack.
If we're going to ask about accuracy, then I have to answer accurately.
Well, we did start the stream without you, but we did start back staging without.
No,
you.
I picked that. I put that. I put that together. Yeah, no, I mean,
I'm on my second beer already. This is good. This is
Dave's gonna be white girl wasted in one more beer.
Yeah, so that's this. Yes, you could say that. You could say that, and it wouldn't be terribly inaccurate.
I love this.
Steve Gosney and I did a stream a few months back.
Oh yeah,
talking about Oliver Wendell Holmes, Justice Oliver Wendell Holmes, and his approach to the First Amendment, where he essentially says, the only protections is really like the government can't stop you from saying it, but they can definitely punish you for some of the things that you say. And we've come a long way since then.
Yes.
But I didn't realize at the time, at any time throughout our history, that there was an understanding that the First Amendment only said that the government can't stop you from saying it, but they can definitely punish you if you say the wrong thing.
Well, that seems to me like a little bit of an oversimplification. It's definitely true that there was much that you could be punished for 100 years ago, or even 75 years ago, that you can't be punished for today. Right. But it is also true that the standard for prior restraint is even higher. In other words, you can be sued for defamation.
Right.
But it's almost impossible for me to get an injunction preventing you from defaming me. Almost impossible. That's prior restraint.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah.
So that does fit into the sort of paradigm that
right. But that prior restraint, I guess, was the only limitation that Oliver Wendell Holmes seemed to have initially as a Supreme Court justice, and then like 18 months later sort of kind of reversed that. And this was all during World War I and protests against the war and things like that.
Right. And there was a lot. That was a period that really did test the First Amendment, and it didn't always come out covered in glory. Right.
Yeah.
There was really, you could really go to prison for, like Eugene V. Debs went to prison for opposing the draft in World War I.
Yeah.
And the argument was, well, we're going to lose if we let people oppose the draft, people won't sign, people won't cooperate with the draft, and we'll lose the war.
Yeah, it was in the government's interest. So therefore it was justified, according to Oliver Wendell Holmes.
And that was a mistake.
Yeah.
Yes.
But then he reversed himself, so that's good.
That's right.
It took a minute, but he got there.
Could you imagine, like today, where we are today, could you imagine not legally being allowed to disagree with the draft? Like that's so far removed from society today. Oh, that's crazy.
Well, here's the thing. I think that it was, let's first of all back off from the world of social media where, how many are watching this ridiculous stream?
We have 89.
Okay, 89. But you've all been on streams where there are hundreds or sometimes even thousands of people.
Yeah, we've had streams
on the stream.
Yeah.
And that wasn't always the case. Yeah. If a person went into a tavern in his neighborhood and started arguing against the draft in 1917, chances are nothing would happen to him. Eugene V. Debs was prosecuted because he was a genuine political threat to the order. He was a socialist candidate for president, also a Princeton graduate like me. That's about where the similarities end, however. And he was, I think he was, and he was mouthing off too much about, a very contentious social issue. So he had to be stopped, and he was. But, the most important thing for us to learn from that is that political prisoners are not something new in American society. And we know that we have them today. And of course, I don't want to get this massive cash machine demonetized.
Oh, yes. Yeah. I'm not monetized, by the way. Valhalla, he can sign off on that.
You were monetized.
I was.
Anyway.
No, I'm never. That's it. I'm gonna. This is just not gonna work.
Well, one of the things that I find absolutely fascinating about you, Ron, is that you are a proponent of the First Amendment, and honestly, I find to be one of the purest proponents of the First Amendment. Also, I see a lot of your material on your shorts disparaging offensive language. And I do you feel that you almost have to take that role with your fight for the First Amendment? Is it like a
when you say
double-edged-
offensive, what is it that you like? What are you referring to when you say offensive language?
maybe
I'm kind of
anti-Semitism is just a more
curious.
blatant way to say it.
Okay. Oh, so that's been actually. So I think that's a fantastic. Yeah, I mean, we're living through an extraordinary moment of much like the World War I period, where we're testing this. So the issue, what's happened is because we do have social media today, so many people can have such a massive audience so quickly, and we have passed into a time when it has become once again acceptable to say things that should never be said as a matter of social coherence. Let me say this. This is where we are tonight, folks. Okay. I was on a panel, a panel that is so prestigious in trademark law that it's the only picture you'll see. It's me sitting with Professor McCarthy, who is the Dean of Trademark Law of the 20th century.
Okay.
And I was asked to speak on this panel about the issue. And one of the things I said about our case, the Slants case, and I said, one of the things I said was that even putting aside all the changes in how the trademark laws operate and the changes in how in the First Amendment jurisprudence, we no longer have a social consensus about what constitutes disparaging. What is the kind of thing that is a scandalous, that is an outrageous thing to say? Basically, after the 1960s, there is nothing that's outrageous. And now, because of social media, not only is it possible to say outrageous things and not get in trouble for them, you can become very wealthy from saying them. Mm. So on the one hand, we have to wrestle with, does every platform have to permit every utterance? And I do think,
excited or otherwise.
Yeah, we're not even talking about excited. So excited, you should understand that the term excited utterance.
It was a reference to excited utterance, the name earlier.
Right. So, but excited utterance knows.
Yeah,
that's right. That is a law and a rule in the law of evidence. But we'll pull back from that. The issue with anti-Semitism online, we have to first get our arms around calling anti-Semitism what it is. I'm just against Israel, or I'm just against the policies of Israel. One of the things Marxists do is take ownership of language. And the last year has seen an extraordinary growth in the acquisition of terminology and words, so that people who support the right of other people to stage a pogrom, commit rape and murder and burning people alive, and film it live and stream it, consider those who are taking military action to prevent that from happening guilty of genocide. The word genocide has been appropriated from victims to perpetrators. And the word. So so one of the things we have to do is acknowledge that when people ignore all kinds of human rights abuses around the world, but are obsessed with what they deem to be human rights abuses by one country, and that one country happens to be notable in only one way, which is that it's the Jew country. You have to ask, why is that their choice? Why is this? Yes, an apartheid. Half Irish makes a great point. This was something that Jimmy Carter, who is a terrible person, signed on to many years ago, which is to say a country in which Arabs are entitled to literally the same civil rights as Jews. In a part of the world where no country extends any of those rights to Jews is the country in the world that practices apartheid. It's preposterous. So, okay, all these words, blah, blah, blah. Let's not get too political. The bottom line is, in terms of your comment about Valhalla, we're seeing a really ugly rhetorical war going on. And I can handle anyone who wants to. I mean, one of the things that's going on Twitter, there are so many things going on X, Twitter.
It's still Twitter.
It's really
Big Daddy Elon. We love you, but it's still Twitter, man. Sorry.
That's right. I agree with you 100%. That's how people casually refer to it, and quite understandably. You know what? I'm going to say that this was like this. And I do think I owe it to the theme here to make an effort to try to move forward.
We love you. That's great.
You really should.
We do.
And then how does this all of a sudden have two? It's freaking crazy. And this is the anti-Semites, you see.
Those damn Danish.
So one of the things. So actually, one of the things I've actually, Valhalla, you pay close attention. I trash Jews all the time. You can trash Jews without being anti-Semitic. I can't stand George Soros. I can't stand the Jewish.
He's a horrible human being. Let's just
Chuck Schumer and all these scumbag. Oh my God, is he a Jew?
I didn't know that. I honestly didn't know that.
Schumer.
My bad.
Wow, you're not good at you would fail at who's the Jew, man. Because he is about as Jewish as they get.
It's in the name.
Seriously,
I guess
the one thing about being an Orthodox Jew is that we're not afraid of anti-Semitism. In fact, I'm friends with a lot of people online who I know are on some level anti-Semitic. I always say if they knew as many Jews as I did, they'd be even more anti-Semitic. I mean, we're an annoying people. but I'm saying this about my family members. If you want to say that about my family members, you see, I don't really care what you think. What I care about is what you do. And it's not really unusual, and it's not even really, in my view, particularly offensive for people to notice the difference between different groups of people and to generalize about them to some extent. That doesn't mean that on an individual basis you don't give a person the benefit of the doubt. It means that it doesn't mean that you can discriminate against them unlawfully. But if you don't want to have any Black friends or any Jewish friends, that's your prerogative. It's your prerogative. You choose who you want to hang out with. Just don't round people up and put them in gas chambers.
Yeah, we
don't kill people. Don't
attack a bunch of civilians engaged in an outdoor music venue.
Right.
And here's the basis for this question, or the reason that I felt the need to ask this question. I figured out
the problem.
Maybe I'm just reading into it, and I'm
well, first
glad
of
that I
all,
haven't
reading is a huge mistake. You're gonna make all kinds of mistakes if you continue that bad habit.
I kind of take I don't know if it's an opposite stance, I guess, but I think it's important to offend people. I think it's important that
Oh no, I don't think it. You're not taking the opposite stance. You're making exactly my point, which is that you need like we grow from this.
Yes, yes.
And I think.
Go ahead.
Just there's a difference between making a joke or making an observation. For example, if you look up on Twitter, Ron Coleman talking about why do the stupid Jews keep voting Democrat? Okay, like that's not complimentary. I'm not saying it in a nice way, and I'm saying it and I'm generalizing about a group of people. That's a long way from shut up, Jew. Okay,
for sure.
And if I can tell you the number of shut up Jews I get from anonymous basement Nazis, or for all I know, they're Iranian accounts. I don't know where these losers are coming out from. But one thing I'll say about Nick Fuentes, he tells you his name, he puts his face out there, and he's fighting his fight. His loser gay fight, whatever the hell it is about Nick, at least he's putting it on the line. But all these bullshit people, with their phony baloney crap, come out and fight.
I'm just kind of shocked at the level of anti-Semitism that I've seen since October 7th last year. When that first happened, I kind of thought everyone was going to be on the same page, and then all of a sudden there's like pro-Palestinian riots.
Well, this is a new phenomenon, right? Like when I was in high school, I remember everybody being very pro-Israel. I remember, pro-Israel was the, and I grew up in Northern Illinois, right? Where, you went to Northwestern. I wasn't too far from Northwestern. But I remember everybody being very pro-Israel, and this new Free Palestine thing is odd to me. I don't understand it.
It's something they did in the colleges that I simply cannot. I really don't know what the hell's going on.
It's so bizarre to me. Like you're arguing over Israel's right to be a Jewish state, basically, and claiming that Gaza's the strip in Gaza, which is what, like 6 miles long, the Gaza Bank, something like that.
Yeah, Gaza Strip. Yeah,
that they should have the right to. I just don't get it. I don't understand any of it. It goes way back, and it's been switched over so many times in the past, and it's so convoluted.
Yeah, it's too convoluted. But the point is the visceral hatred.
Yes, that's the thing. All these young kids that are
yeah. No, there's a real sickness, and what we're struggling with about how, and you're 100% right. Like it seems like it's a contradiction in my thinking, and to some extent it is, because it's a contradiction in. And I had a version of this discussion with Michael Knowles when I had him on my show, and his argument is that, and I don't think really anyone who does constitutional law will buy into this, but from a pundit point of view, it's an important point to wrestle with. And what Michael says is, well, if people are saying things that are fundamentally inconsistent with the values that we're trying to uphold, then that's where we should draw the line. So the problem is who decides that?
Yeah,
I mean, the corporate media made a collective decision, and not only the media, but all the institutions that control American society made unjustifiably a decision that Donald Trump, by virtue of who he is, by virtue of his policies, by virtue of whatever, was the person who's these policies, they never really say how, but these policies, as opposed to Obama's policies, as opposed to someone else's policies, or a threat to democracy. And once you have a threat to democracy, then therefore we have now put him. He is the person that we should ban. We're going to ban Donald Trump because he's a threat to democracy. And then there's no end to it. And that ain't going to work. That ain't going to work. But I think it's somewhat. Oh yes, half Irish in Canadian cities. It's awful what's going on in Canada.
Oh, Canada's way worse than what we've got.
So part of the problem here is how do we have there's no question that our conception of free speech is far beyond what was contemplated when the First Amendment was, made part of the Constitution.
Just by virtue of technology alone.
But also social mores, and of course the 14th Amendment, which incorporates the constitutional rights into state to be applicable as against states also. But one thing that's really changed, Wendy, why are you invoking Roberta Flack at this point of the conversation? Maybe I missed something. Okay. Is that Islam, radical Islam, especially in its current mode of being, supported with a complete lack of, I mean, they're working hand in hand, supported by the hard left, by Marxists and communists. They're operating outside of our cultural framework. They absolutely reject becoming part of American society. Their position is we're going to change this society and we're going to make it. We're going to conquer you with your permission.
Yes. That's
something that we don't really have so I've said in the past, we don't really have the equipment, the constitutional, institutional equipment to deal with it. But then I've answered myself by saying, well, we do. Because if we would just let them say whatever they want, just as we do everyone else, even offensive things like we're gonna take you over, we're gonna blah blah blah. But we would enforce the law against violent protest. We'd enforce the law against vandalism. We'd enforce the law against wearing masks while demonstrating, like the Klan does. These are all, if we would just line things up and say, we're going to enforce, if we would do to pro-Hamas demonstrators what we do to January 6th demonstrators, we wouldn't have this problem.
There's a concept.
Fundamental lack of moral, of a desire on the part of our elites to really protect our institutions and our country and our freedoms. That's why we're in this.
But you know why they don't do that? They don't do that because, for forever, for millennia, politics has run on this idea of we need a problem to solve. And since we're in this essentially peaceful utopia for so long, we need to create a problem. And so here's the new problem that we're going to solve, that we're going to allow to fester because we're not doing anything about it with the tools that we have. That's my thing, is I think this is all political gamesmanship. We need a problem to solve. Look, we have all these problems, whether they're whatever side they get on. Either these people need to be dealt with and we need to enforce these laws. So elect me and vote for me, or vote for this party so we can enforce these laws that are already on the books and solve this problem. Or their issues are legitimate and we need to solve these problems. So vote for us and we'll solve these problems.
Do you think it's that simple? Or do you?
I
Because
I feel like the answers to most things are that simple.
You think so?
I don't know. What does Ron think? That's my thought. I think it's that simple. I think it's all political gamesmanship.
No, I don't think so.
I don't think so either.
I think that the Democratic Party. So I've written on this. The Democratic Party is a coalition party.
Yeah,
and it has done well for a very long period of time by building coalitions based on grievances. And it worked through the middle of the 20th century when, again, you had this social cohesion that we don't have today. When you said, we might not all be, rigorously Orthodox Jews, but we believe in basic Jewish values. And we may not be really observant Catholics who go to mass every Sunday, but we believe the basic principles of what the church says, and the same thing for Protestants. And we don't have that anymore. There is literally, people will say, frankly, almost anything in the name of some religion that historically has never said those kinds of things. And yes, so Jojo points out that the idea is not necessarily to fix the grievances, because obviously look how little they have really done to it. They have the lot of the Black community in this country is absolutely is so far worse than it was when I was growing up.
Managing the symptoms is way more lucrative than creating the cure, right? And that applies to social problems as well.
That's right. But without saying that they are purposely rolling them along to maintain, because I think that was the point we're responding to here, is the loss of that moral consensus means that there are no limiting principles on how far to go, on what accommodations must be made. So toleration of gays became acceptance of gays, became celebration of gays, became tolerance of transsexuality, and we're basically on our way into tolerance of pedophilia, and we will soon pass through that into celebration of pedophilia. Because there are no limiting principles.
I think that's the direction that things are going, right? And I think that that's an intended direction. However, I don't think the American people at this point are going to stand for that. And,
You're right.
And until
all you have to do is wait for them to die out. They say, how do you change a culture?
No, but that's why they're going into the schools. That's why they're going into the schools and screwing up the heads of all these kids, because they have to keep creating more of them. Okay, so you're right, but the American people, because even though we don't have that consensus that we once did, there's still a core that, for example, I think they don't have anymore in Europe. In Western Europe, there's still a core of this. And by the way, that's why Donald Trump wins.
Yes, I think so.
He's hardly conservative at all. He's just a regular guy, not in terms of his talents, not in terms of his personality, not in terms of his wealth, but in terms of his moral stance. He's basically what most normal people, what your dad and my dad taught us. If you want to come to a country that you don't live in, you should ask permission.
Yeah.
Is that crazy?
Novel concept.
You know
what? That's very racist of you, Ron. I'm ashamed that you're on the stream with me.
You're gonna have to. You're gonna even further demonetize.
Demonetize his non-monetized channel.
That's exactly right. Okay. So that's our lesson for tonight.
That's great. No, I think that's right. I've never heard actually anyone say it that way.
That's why I get the big bucks.
that Trump is just a normal guy when it comes to his, like you said, moral philosophy and just approach to life in general. And that's probably why he resonates so well with so many people.
Well, like we were talking, like I was telling you before the stream when we were backstage, I honestly believe, and Trump, Elon Musk has said something very similar, although he, when he says it, he makes it sound way smarter than I do. But I think that it's a real possibility that this may be our last real election, right? After Trump, I think it's all just the political machine. There's nobody that's going to stand up and have the ability to stand up against the machine like Trump has, because he's financially able to. I think after this, we're screwed.
I don't think so.
If things don't change,
I don't think so. I do.
Please
I understand. Well, so if you want to be white pilled, you should read Michael Malice's book, The White Pill. And here's a guy who is not a religious person. He's an I think he's
agnostic.
He was not only agnostic, but also politically, he's an anarcho-capitalist.
Yeah.
Or a syndical, whatever.
Anarchist at some level.
And he wrote a book about, as someone who came from the Soviet Union, talking about how you cannot extinguish the human soul. And you don't have to get metaphysical or mystical about it. You just have to understand that there's something about the human spirit that will overcome evil. It cannot be that Donald Trump is the only way. There are, right now, he has this unique opportunity, and he's taking it. And whether he is, I don't believe he's motivated by ego, frankly. I mean, of course he's motivated by ego, but I don't think he's only motivated by ego. But whatever the reasons are, the reason, if it weren't Donald Trump, it would be someone else. It wouldn't be Mike Pence, no, but someone else would step up, because there are. But on the other hand,
humanity dies waiting for somebody to step up.
It might be, but I mean, what I think is really important to say is I do think that there is validity to this idea that if the Democrats were to win, given just how cynically and deviously they game the system, and from behind the scenes, and how they really have made cheating to obtain and retain power part and parcel of their entire, it's what they are, it's who they are, it's all they know. So we have to recognize that if we don't fight against that, then each election becomes more and more and more dubious and of an opportunity to overcome what they're trying to put in place. So literally, will we ever have an election again? Of course not. But are they trying to fix things so that it becomes more and more impossible to overcome them? Absolutely.
Well, I think that's what Valhalla and maybe to some extent Elon Musk was saying, is that it's not going to be our last election, but it's going to be, the machine itself is going to, if Trump doesn't win, the machine, it's going to be so powerful, the machine being the Democratic Party, that
the uniparty. I would clarify that
you're not going to ever be able to have an actual realistic, it matters who you vote for sort of election.
Yeah, I would agree with that 100%, man.
I think that let's put it this way. I think we have to, for all practical purposes, conduct ourselves as if that were literally the case, because it's going to get harder and harder. And if with God's help, and now I'm going back to invoking the deity, if with God's help, Because, by the way, God does love the United States. God has made the United States a special place of unusual freedom, unusual opportunity. It is unparalleled in history.
The last bastion of hope.
That's right. And for that reason, it's worth fighting for. And we will continue to fight until we can't fight anymore. That's what I'm here for.
Ron,
Yes,
have you seen the new movie Civil War?
No.
I'm kind of nervous to watch it, but I want to watch it. It supposedly takes place in modern times, and there's a civil war. And because it's made by Hollywood, I have a feeling there's a certain perspective that's presented. But I'm going to watch it. I was just wondering if you had watched it yet.
No, I've heard people talking about it and suggesting that, that on the one hand, that is the perspective of the filmmakers, but on the other hand, to some extent, that they actually prove our point.
Really?
But
so I was thinking about doing watching it and then doing a review of it. Video.
Let us know.
Yeah, I'm good. All right, now I'm committed to doing it. I've been sitting there. I was like, I'm gonna go. I had it bookmarked when it was in theaters. I'm gonna watch this. And then when it came in theaters, I was like, ooh, I don't know. I'm a little nervous too. And then now that it's in the now that it's I can watch it at home, I'm gonna watch it.
Let us know.
Wendy, you've been quiet.
She certainly has.
It's a miracle, huh?
Wow, I feel a little bad.
Well, I started telling the guys earlier. My kid is in a volleyball tournament this weekend. So we having to wake up at 5 a.m, both days, both Saturday and Sunday, drive an hour and a half, and then there, hour and a half back. So I barely got home in time today to stream. And I drank way too much. I just feel nauseous. I've not been feeling great today. So I do apologize.
If you gotta jump off, we understand, Wendy.
It just seems really sus that I would be jumping off at this moment.
What is that?
I don't want you guys to think you beat me down.
No.
Oh, I thought that.
I'm so
I
sorry.
thought that already.
Yeah.
That's
I
why I
know,
thought
right?
you were quiet, because you were like contemplating your entire life's choices.
As we say in Spanish, David, solamente en tus sueños, only in your dreams.
Wendy, do you know that my mother? Do you know that there's no reason you would know this. My mother is Cuban.
No way. Is she?
She is a Polacca.
She is Sephardic.
No. Her parents left Poland in 1935.
What?
And they settled in Cuba.
Good timing.
Yes, good timing. Because just about everyone that they left behind was murdered. And they came to the United States in 1956.
That's beautiful.
The year before Castro. Okay, so yes, we do have good timing. So I'm a second generation American on my mother's side, and we are what the Cubans, as they call us.
Cubano.
Cubani. And my mother is still, of course, lives in South Florida, where all Cubans must go.
Awesome.
And but just you should know that
I love that.
somos hermanos.
Wait, so you speak Spanish then?
I speak Spanish.
Qué bueno.
Do you also speak Hebrew?
I speak Spanish better than I speak modern Hebrew. So, like ours,
He probably speaks better Spanish than I do.
Probably.
I can read a book like this, which is written in basically what's called rabbinic Hebrew.
Okay.
But reading an Israeli newspaper is a complete mystery to me. I probably could pick it up. I mean, it's really the same building blocks, but it would probably take me a few weeks to get up to speed on modern Hebrew. And there's a lot of modern day vocabulary, that I don't know. I also speak a certain amount of Yiddish.
Oh, cool.
I just
Who was
want to
also
say
Tom
that
Hughes?
this pyramid. Who
You
gave
too,
it to me
Wendy?
again?
Yeah.
JoJo.
What do you know?
This thing is so
Oh.
cool.
Wendy, I don't
Um,
think I knew you were Cubano. That's
Oh, that's
awesome.
cool. Her last name's
Cubanito.
Marino.
Cubanito. Claro. Qué bueno. So I am half Mexican and half English.
I need a bio break. I'll be back.
Yeah,
English as in British English?
yeah. So my mom's a blonde-haired, blue-eyed, petite, very British-looking lady, like like small features, and my dad is a very prototypical, stocky Mexican dude with a square head and brown skin and brown hair, and yeah. So I grew up. My mom did a really good job, I think, of trying to make sure that because she's the one that stayed home with us. So I've met kids who have the Mexican mom and the white dad, and they have a lot more Mexican culture. But I think my mom did a good job of making sure we got what we needed from both sides. And so, yeah, pretty lucky kid.
Thank
is
God.
that your kid hollering?
Yeah, you heard her. She's so I have to go soon because I'm feeling nauseated, but I have to tell you, this is so funny. So in between games today, we went and ate with all the parents, and the kids were in one corner of so I'm actually having adult conversations with real adults, like having a good time. And all of a sudden, I think I hear mom, but there's 13 girls behind us. So I don't know. They could be calling anyone. Pretty soon I look at my phone and there's 14 texts from my daughter going, mom, 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 mom. And I turn around. I said, sweetheart, what do you want? You're being rude. I'm trying to have adult conversations. And she said, she goes, well, you weren't paying attention to me. I just wanted to. So I thought I could have been mad, but I thought, how cool is it that my 14-year-old daughter in front of all her 14-year-old friends wanted my attention? So it kind of made me happy.
That's right. That's a good way of looking at it.
Right. Then of course, when we were in private, I explained to her that was rude and we don't interact.
My son will bug me. He'll blow up my phone with something, or my daughter. They'll both do it, and then you're just like, oh my God, I'm busy. Why are you bothering me? And then they want to tell you something really cool, and then you feel like an asshole.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, that kind
and
of
she
thing.
still holds my hand everywhere and still wants to cuddle. And
Oh, that is nice.
yes, and
in fact, they say that's one of the things you miss out on being a father of sons, of only boys.
I would imagine
that kind of affection. Yeah.
Yes, I'm very lucky, and I have both. And my
Unless
adult
your kid's
son,
a fig, and if your kid's a fig, that's a different problem altogether.
My mom wanted girls.
I tried
at least
for a gay son,
girls
but
so
I wanted
bad,
a gay son, but he's straight.
and then she
Bummer.
got all boys.
Wendy.
I tried, Ron. I really did.
My wife, when we first got married, she said, "I don't know if we have boys. I just don't know what am I going to do."
Yeah.
And by the time we raised 4 boys, she said, "I don't know what I would have done if I would have had girls."
My adult daughter has only boys, and she says she doesn't want any girls. She wants one more kid, and she said she just wants to be a boy mom. And I said, well, how are you going to know if you don't have them? She goes, I'm a girl. I know I don't want one. I'm like, okay. Well, I'm gonna get off, you guys. I gotta my 14-year-old now is needing some food and attention. Like I said, we've been gone all day, and we have a pretty traditional life here. And so usually I'm available to her 24 hours a day, 7 days a week.
Well, thank you for joining, Wendy, as always.
Good night, Wendy.
Always
Nice
my
meeting you.
pleasure. And Ron, you're a lovely human, and I really appreciate
Thank
meeting
you.
you.
That's very nice of you to say, and I'm sure you mean it as well.
Oh, yeah. Unfortunately,
No,
I have no filter, and I'm not good at lying.
Yeah,
gonna
so
have
you're
to,
one of
though,
those sensitive people.
Take Ron's words of advice, though, Wendy, and vote Republican. Vote for Trump.
Well, David, just so you know, you and I are in real life friends. And if I were going to take someone's advice about those things, I would definitely have listened to you. And we've had plenty of conversations.
The only thing I'm going to say is I'm very happy to hear that you're not able to vote because you forgot to register.
You're not supposed to tell the internet that. That was our private conversation, and I did forget to register when I moved.
How can you forget to register? Like, don't they? Doesn't a registration form come out with every grocery receipt? I mean,
Oh, it's weird, huh? No, and I feel like every time I've moved before, I would get something in the mail, or when I go to the
you
DMV.
moved. Okay.
Yeah, I moved.
What,
I like
what county do you live in? County, you can tell me. You're not going to get doxxed by county.
in California, like
Yeah.
McCounty County.
Yeah.
It's called YOLO, YOLO.
YOLO County?
It's not a joke. It's really called that. Yeah.
You only live once county?
Yeah.
They
Okay, I don't know
recently
anything
changed
about
the
YOLO
name, I
County.
bet. Damn it, I dropped a piece again.
But David or Valhalla, one of them said I could probably still go register. David said they'll just let you register, like if you just go that day.
That's what I said.
Well, what if you just play up the Mexican stuff? Then I think they'll let you right in.
Yeah, you're in California. You could just walk in there, start speaking Spanish.
Yo
and they'll let you vote.
necesito votar. Yo no entiendo nada.
No hablo inglés.
No hablo
Lo siento,
inglés.
pero no hablo
Puedo
inglés.
hacer construcción. Mucho construcción.
Knowing my luck, I'd get the only white lady in my county. All right,
Really
you
nice
guys.
meeting you, Wendy.
It was my
All right,
pleasure.
bye, Wendy.
Valhalla,
I'll
I
tell
love you.
Valhalla that.
Yes, my darling.
But wait,
You're a registered Democrat. Chances are you've already voted.
I'm coming, babe. All right.
Love you,
Frankie.
Wendy. Thank you so much, babe.
Love you. Good night, guys. Sweet
Good night.
dreams.
Good night.
Bye. Oh, I'm going to end the stream. I better not end the stream. Okay.
Oh, yeah, don't end the
that.
stream.
Leave
Oh,
studio.
don't pull a
Don't
Salvador.
end stream. Oh my god.
Oh my God. So I just
Oh my
X
God.
out, right?
Yes.
Maybe you should end
Leave studio. Down at the bottom.
Remove the
Leave
stage.
studio.
Yeah, that's all. Just leave the studio. Yeah.
Leave studio.
Close.
Thank you.
Yeah. Bye. It'll ask you, are you sure you want to leave?
That was close.
Make sure you hit that.
Okay. Good night.
Good night.
Good night, Wendy. Love you.
Love you, babe.
She's still on stream. There you go. Okay.
Okay, here we are.
Whew, that would have been dangerous.
Oh, Wendy, that's why we don't let her leave until after the stream's done, usually.
We were doing a fundraiser stream, and someone in the chat left. He was admin on my page and shut down the whole stream. It's a good time.
I've done it once.
Yeah,
I've
that can
done it
happen.
once.
You know,
Yeah.
mistakes get made.
I was on my phone.
I just can't find this piece. What am I going to do? I really thought I was going to be. Oh no! See, this is the look. Okay, this is so stupid. So stupid.
It's those damn Danish. I'm telling you.
I thought that was a piece. No, it's this plus this. So I'm looking for a piece that doesn't exist.
That makes it hard.
It's anti-Semites.
Yep. Well, it's the Danish. They're very
It's another
anti-Semitic.
Shoah.
Actually, you know what? Daneland, Denmark has a state church, and if you are
Yes.
to get married in Denmark, you have to get married through the state church.
Is it
How
a
interesting.
Jewish?
Yeah.
Jewish
No,
version of that?
no, not even close. That's
Yeah,
a
I didn't think
no. I know this because I have a Danish friend.
I know this because I have a Danish. Yeah, I got a Danish friend. He goes to another school. You guys are fun. I'm glad I'm hanging out here with you. And I think
I'm
so
glad
far
you
my wife
came,
doesn't know I'm
man.
on a stream.
Did you just take off? You didn't even tell her.
She thinks
No, I
she's
said I
at
go
home.
to the office. I said I think someone sent me a check, and it's in the office. And
She was like,
we're running out
"Go,
of money for
go."
the weekend, go."
Oh, that's funny.
And then it turned out that he sent it on. He just confirmed for me that he sent it a week ago on Saturday. But the mail in Newark is just terrible. Why does anyone even use the mail anymore?
That's
you
a
can't
valid
opt out of
question,
it.
actually.
You can't opt out of the mail, which is I find frustrating. Can we protest the mail by just opting out and saying, you know what, it's not any good. I'm done with it.
I think we're pretty close to that.
Yeah.
To tell you the truth. Okay, so this piece is kind of cool. Okay, I can do this.
I
I'm not
still have
giving
to
up,
send
guys.
all
We're
my
still here.
notices, my court notices. I have to send in the mail still, which I don't understand. Everyone's got
Really?
email. Everyone responds to email better. I mean, there are some things that I can e-file, but
What are you showing us there, Valhalla?
I was showing chat. I drink out of a Viking drinking horn. It's got a ship engraved in it. It's my my mug of choice.
And it's made from horn?
Cow horn, yes.
From cow horn, like a shofar.
Well, when I got monetized, unlike my friend David over here, when I got monetized, this was a gift from one of my buddies. He sent me a whole Viking drinking selection.
Wow.
I got shot glasses. I got all kinds of things.
Well, nobody got me anything when I got monetized. I don't have any friends.
I have better friends than you. That's exactly.
Because I'm sensitive and soft.
Do you guys enjoy being monetized? Is it kind of cool?
It's got its perks.
Yeah,
they're very small perks.
yeah. My 5,000 subscriber count. It's not like great giant perks, but I get a check most months. That's cool. That's
cool. It's not. I need to stream more. I need to stream more. I think that would probably help me make a few more bucks.
Same situation.
I don't have the time. I wish I could stream more, but I am going to do a stream about Civil War, so that's going to be fun.
Okay, that'll be something.
I'm excited to get your recap after.
Yeah,
just to be part of it.
You could watch it with me and join me on the stream, Valhalla.
Do I have to leave my house?
No, just watch it. No, watch it at home.
Is it on like Netflix or something?
It's on. I see it on HBO.
Oh, I got HBO.
There you go.
We don't even have to pirate this one. I can watch it with you.
Yeah, that's great. You admit to the creator of a show, like, yeah, I couldn't find it anywhere, so I pirated it.
He didn't own it anymore. He made his money. I don't think he cared.
Yeah, I guess.
We had a Swedish actor, director, producer on a couple weeks ago. Skiff, shout out Skiff. He's awesome. And I couldn't find his silly Swedish TV show anywhere, so I had to pirate it to watch it. And I admitted to that because I'm a man of honesty and truth and integrity.
That's interesting. I admitted to my larceny because I'm
Yes,
a man of honesty, truth, and integrity. No, there's something to that. I think we can all learn from that. What we learn from it remains.
My mom would say often, actually, growing up, that you might not like what he says, but he's going to tell you the truth
about you.
Yes, sir.
Well, that's not a bad place to be. I mean, that means that you're working with a basic set of good values and good inclinations. It says, say I.
Well, I appreciate that.
And as someone who lies all the time, I say that because
when did lawyers get this reputation that we lie all the time?
And it's funny too, right? Because we're actually like the only people in the world who can freaking lose our jobs for lying.
So
I wish it would happen more often. That it actually, but the possibility does exist.
So I was in court the other day, and I had opposing party. His attorney had just quit and filed a motion to withdraw and wasn't going to represent him anymore. And we were trying to get a judgment entered. And the judge turns to me and says, "Counsel, you are an officer of the court. Tell me, did this other party agree to these terms during mediation?" And I said, yes. And the court said, okay, then we will enter this judgment because you're telling me that it comports with the agreement and the agreement was made.
That's right. We have that power. Seriously, we have the power that when judges have their heads on right.
Yeah.
And that is, by the way, that's extremely valuable for the system.
Yes.
Because go on.
No. I was just going to say, and just to have that, like, we are the truth tellers to the court, to the system. And yet we have this whole reputation that we constantly lie, and lawyers are always liars, right?
Well, as a layman, right, that's kind of a law nerd, I would say that your career path is completely based on your ability to bend the truth, right? because it's not that you lie, but
Well, no, it's not bending
there's
the
two
truth.
there's two versions of the truth that gets fought out in a courtroom. Right?
Well, it's more the meaning of the act, right? So, if you're in a breach of contract dispute, what exactly do the terms mean? Does it mean that it has to, this particular number of items have to be delivered on this particular specific date? Or are we saying that something else? It's not like there's two truths, or we're trying to convince the court that reality is one way when it's in fact the other. We're trying to argue what these words actually mean, what these actions of our clients actually indicate. And I think that's the thing that's missed. I don't know, Ron. What are your thoughts?
I think you're right. I mean, we're arguing over what words mean, and one side is going to take the position that they mean something different. But it might also have to do with the fact that people don't understand, because most people don't understand the process. Think of how a lawyer in an advocacy situation will argue that a person who's guilty of a crime isn't guilty of a crime. Now, the lawyer won't actually say that. He can't say that. What the lawyer will say is the state has failed to make its case. The people have not made their case. And therefore, you should acquit my client. But most people understand that as, my client's innocent, because if he was guilty, I wouldn't be telling you to acquit him, would I? So that, I think, is another part of the answer. But I think there, unfortunately, is yet another part of the answer, which is that there are circumstances and there are places, and New York is one of them, where lawyers lie a lot. They lie about what other lawyers said to them. They lie about, what's in the record, what the evidence shows, and they get and the system simply permits it. There's no getting away from that.
Yeah, what's up with the Southern District of New York anyway?
Southern District of New York it's pretty bad in that respect.
It's terrible. It's absolutely terrible.
It's terrible, and it's part of the culture there, and part of the problem is, especially on the criminal side, an overwhelmingly high number of judges are former prosecutors.
It's never a good thing.
Never.
Yeah. Ugh. And it's also, they are, it's a real problem. It's a real problem. And also, there's just so little accountability.
Somehow we've gotten to this place in society, or in at least American society, where people are able to shop around for court systems, and SDNY seems to attract a specific clientele, shall we say?
What did Trump say the other day? Was it yesterday or earlier today? Where he's like, it was great to enter New York and not be arrested.
Oh, that's funny. That's funny.
But think about that. Think about that.
Yeah.
He's running for president and he's getting arrested and charged criminally.
Never happened before. Never in American history.
But also, not only just charged criminally. I mean, if he had done something we could all recognize as a crime, then he should be charged. But anyone who's
changed
ever
the rules to charge him,
A, and B, anyone with any familiarity with the real estate industry recognizes this. And he, as the first department judges apparently did in questioning, the prosecutors. This is a routine business transaction. Old line. Nothing makes me crazy when lawyers represent case law and then pretend they didn't understand it. Yes, they did. Yeah, no. Lawyers do lie. In a way, that's probably one of the most forgivable kinds of lies. I think, frankly, that compared to lying about what plaintiffs have admitted, Your Honor. They didn't admit that. Yeah. I mean, people push that line all the time. But the fact is that most people aren't privy to what goes on, like the example that Old Line just gave. Lawyers misrepresenting case law. Although I do think that what often happens is they do it in public. You have people who people who are activist lawyers who go and make public statements about the law. And the Supreme Court doesn't understand, or the Supreme Court is trying to destroy a woman's right to choose. The Supreme Court is trying to imprison women, like crap like that. Lawyers are responsible to a great extent for this serious degradation in their reputations because of the way the public statements they make about each other's work.
Yeah, I could see that actually. That makes sense.
I'll tell you what else. I'm getting kind of tired.
Yeah.
And I think I might just be able to make it out of here, not with any progress on my Lego. Although really, what I've come to understand is that they've taken what is really a remarkably, this is just a damn platform. Okay, this is nothing, and they made it They made it into a jigsaw puzzle.
Yeah,
yeah.
There's
That's
no reason
the fun
on
in
earth.
the build.
Right. Okay, but
a
there's
three-dimensional jigsaw puzzle.
No, but it's not. At the end of the day, it's three-dimensional, but the point is...
Well, it would be if you got to step 17. They start building.
No, but I get what he's saying because
I'm just building a freaking platform here. There's no reason for this to be a million.
The platform
license.
for this, like when I was buying Legos as a kid, would have been just a flat plate.
Right.
But instead,
yes.
It's all of this nonsense underneath. Look at this.
Yeah.
Look
when
at
we
this.
were when we were kids, that would have been one base plate that you started building on.
And then you start doing the fun part because what is the payoff emotionally?
It takes a while. It takes
on
a while.
having right. And I get it. And plus it keeps you from using drugs. Because you're
or it
busy
makes
with
you
this.
start. Or it makes you start.
Yeah. Or it makes you start. So
Speak for yourself, sir. I'm on beer number 9.
Guys, it was great hanging out. I'm gonna head home.
Well, thanks for joining us.
I truly appreciate the conversation, sir. And
right, no, I love to, and I love the frankly the novelty of the of the Lego project. I think it's very cute, and maybe I'll have to come back on another time and finish this.
Well, that's how you get a second stream is by taking your time and not finishing it during the
That's true. A few people have taken that route.
Yeah.
We appreciate you, Ron. Y'all go check out Ron Coleman. He's got a YouTube channel. He's absolutely brilliant.
It's true.
And one of the leading components of free speech in the United
Proponents.
States.
I'm part of the machine. Okay. Good night, everybody.
Good night.
Appreciate it so much.
I'm gonna buy Legos again because this was so fun.
That's
done.
Yay! I've actually done it. This is insane. Okay.
I'm so hyped and focused on this thing.
It's
here.
hard. It's hard to concentrate. Steve, what are you looking at? You are really intently looking at something.
I dropped the piece and I can't find it.
Just tell me what I need to do. Yeah.
telling me that
Zero
you have no
numbers. There's no numbers.
I'm not sure how you done. How it doesn't.
No numbers.
So past my bedtime right now.
Having the problem with this one here.
Or they
No.
say,
We're gonna be here till 2 in the morning.
outstanding.
I'm actually enjoying a little bit of wine while we do this because it felt inappropriate to not have libations.
Look at this. It's kind of, I don't know what this was from.
I had a great freaking time. I chose a Lego set that was like, don't do the flowers, guys. Don't do the flowers.
Obviously, I'm the problem because I keep making the same bad decisions.
Yeah.
Okay.
No big deal. No big deal.
Yeah, fuck, how do I pitch my channel? I cover a lot of the current drama and stuff that's going on, but predominantly I'm somebody who's kicked around the internet for quite a long time.
So I do bonsai. I collect bonsai trees, and these trees aren't it. they're wrong. These trees they have bad form.
I got the part of the base done, and I'm working on what I think is the owl now. See, like, that's how you get invited back. You just do it really slow.
That looks really cool.
That's awesome.
It's so random, but it functions. That's awesome.
It's so cool.
But it's not the size of the tower. That's how well you use it.
What's this all about? I'll show you mine if you show me yours. I'm like, whoa, this is not that type of stream.